Hello, everybody, and thank you for listening to Retold, a Harry Potter podcast, a show for Potter fans of all sorts to tune in and have fun living in the wizarding world just a little more. My name is Barry, and every week I sit down with a new guest host and we go through the Harry Potter books 2 chapters at a time. We also have some fun segments filled with trivia, deep lore, movie changes, and favorite lines. And at the very end of the episode, we have a spoiler section called the Restricted Section. Ooh. This week, we will be covering chapters 13 and 14 of the Chamber of Secrets, and I'm joined by not one, but 2 amazing hosts, Tori and Shay from the Potter Revisited podcast. This episode might have been the most fun I've had recording a podcast yet. These 2 women are so funny and insightful. We laughed a lot. I edited out a lot, but I also kept most of it all in just for you. They are also just really good podcasters and very easy to talk to. So I will leave the links for their show in the description if you would like to check out Potter Revisited. As for house elf-keeping things for this episode, you will hear me chime back in later with the Quizzitch score. Right now, it is 9-10, and guests have the lead, but Tori, Shay, and I had a lot of trivia for each other in this episode, so we'll see what happens. I also want to give another shout out to all the stream fiends from the Streaming Things podcast and to Streaming Things Again. They really promoted my episode with Andy last week. And as of today, that episode is already my most downloaded episode of all time. So that was really cool. I'm very grateful to them and all the fiends. Thank you guys so much. As always, please rate and review the show if you can. That helps me out a lot. Share it with all your Potter friends. And feel free to reach out to me if you want. You can send me a comment, owl post, or howler by emailing me at theretoldpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can send me a message on Instagram at theretoldpodcast. Anyway, time for the episode. Enjoy.
1, 2, 3. Expelliarmus!
I'll be in my bedroom, making no noise and pretending that I don't exist.
Oh dear, we are in trouble.
Where have you been? You shall not harm Harry Potter. 50 points and it goes through her head.
I strongly recommend caution.
Scared Potter.
You wish.
I didn't know you could read.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for listening to Retold, a Harry Potter podcast. This week, we are covering chapters 13 and 14 of the Chamber of Secrets, The Very Secret Diary, and Cornelius Fudge. But I'm not alone on this journey. With me today, I'm joined by the amazing, the special, the wonderful people from... I almost said Potterless. That's a different podcast. From
I wish.
From Potter Revisited, it's Tori and Shay. Hi, guys.
Hello,
I'm Shay, just so you know the voices.
And I'm Tori.
Yeah, thank you for making that. After our talk before, I was going to be like, how about when one of y'all mentions it, just say, it's me. But no, that's very good. I'm so happy to have you guys on. Thank you for doing this. Listeners, Tori and Shay have their own podcast, Potter Revisited. It's really funny. I think I'll let you guys plug your own show, but let me talk about it myself first, because I love it. I think one of my favorite things about it is you guys are such good friends, and that comes through so well on the show. And I was telling Shay just a little bit ago, it almost feels like a buddy cop type of show sometimes.
I'm bad cop.
Well, what listeners will hear soon, and again, we just met virtually.
7 minutes ago.
And it's kind of weird, like when you talk to somebody you've listened to hours of their voice before, because it's like, I feel like I know you, but you've never heard me before. And so I hope this doesn't sound too weird, but like when I listen, Tori has a very like warm motherly voice and very kind, and she'll put something forward in a very kind way, and Shay is very sassy. She'll be she will just destroy some of my favorite characters, but it's really funny to listen to. Anyway, enough about me talking about your podcast. How about you guys talk about it for a second?
You made it sound way better than we do.
Basically, we just started it, I think, during the pandemic accidentally, because we talk about Harry Potter too much and our friends were annoyed with us.
They were real sick of us,
And we wanted to reread the series together and kind of keep track of like interesting things that we wouldn't necessarily think about by ourselves. And also, as we're both in our 30s now, looking back at when we read it when we were 10 compared to now.
Yeah, also, it's basically a book club, but instead of someone suggesting some awful, like, weird fairy romance book that you regret spending money on, it's something we know we like and we already own.
Something with like a bare-chested, massive dude on the front.
Listen, I read one book from my book club and I was like, never again. I can't do it. So yeah, it's basically just we need an excuse to talk about Harry Potter, not to our other loved ones. And we are equally deranged when it comes to Harry Potter, so we provided each other with the perfect sounding board to just... It's for us. We don't podcast for the viewers. We podcast because we have a lot to say to each other.
And we just record it.
Yeah, basically.
But you know what? That really does make it special. It's incredible podcast. So listeners, check that out. Please, please, please. Another fun thing.
We just finished Goblet of Fire, just to clarify that.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah, that's good. Good to know because, you know, I'm trudging along slowly through these books. And if listeners are like, I want to go ahead and go further. You know, I don't want to have to wait a week, you know, to keep reading a chapter. We'll head on over to Potter Revisited and listen to some of their coverage. Plus, they're Canadian and you get to hear them say a boot. And that's really cool. Like they did the thing.
Also, every time we have an episode that has Quidditch, I somehow end up talking about hockey. So it really is, we're the entire stereotype.
Honestly.
In y'all's latest episode, the one for the third task.
Yes.
Shay, when thinking about what sport to reference, immediately goes, you know, like when young boys play hockey. And I was like, of course, they did the thing again.
Listen.
So this is great. This is what they call diversity. I'm having non-Americans on my podcast. That's what they mean,
and they're from
right?
2 different provinces. So it's like, there you go.
Oh, very cool. What are those provinces?
So I'm in Ontario.
I'm in Quebec.
The guy, Americans, that means like different states almost. Yes. You know, that's kind of how we would perceive it.
Yeah, they're beside each other, but they're not the same thing.
Same, but different.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So without further ado, let's get going on this episode. So Tori and Shay, you guys already know, and the listeners, just so you know, the way we open up every episode here is we ask our guests what their fandom ID is. And what that means is we get to know what their Hogwarts house is, what their favorite Harry Potter book is, favorite Harry Potter movie, and how did they get into Harry Potter. So without further ado, take it away, y'all.
You go first, Tori?
Yeah, I'll go first. So for Hogwarts house, I am a Slytherin. And favorite book is Prisoner of Azkaban. Favorite movie is Chamber of Secrets. So it's fun to be back in Chamber of Secrets realm of things. And for Harry Potter, how I got into it was Philosopher's Stone was my class novel in the 3rd grade. And then the first 2 movies had come out around that time. It was really big. And so my parents bought the book set or whatever that was out. Was putting off cleaning my room at some point in the 4th grade. Found one of the books. It ended up being Prisoner of Azkaban. I started reading it to put off cleaning my room, and I actually got like really into it, and that just kind of set off the chain of events that had happened.
Then your parents walked in and were like, why isn't this room clean? And you were like, you don't understand.
I'm reading. They were very impressed that I was reading, though.
So in Canada, is it called Philosopher's Stone?
Yes.
Wow, we're the only ones that are just like,
what a philosopher is.
I know, it's always been explained as like, people thought that Americans wouldn't think that was cool. They were like, we need a sorcerer. I guess they were right, though. Sold like hotcakes. So.
Yeah, true. It worked.
And so what you said your favorite movie was the 3rd movie, right?
My favorite movie is Chamber of Secrets.
My
favorite book is Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay. I was going to say, because the most common favorite movie that I hear from people is the 3rd one. But
yeah, I feel like people either love Prisoner of Azkaban movie or they don't like it.
If you don't pay attention to like the hair.
Yes.
But it's a very much so in Goblet of Fire. People trash
especially in Goblet, yeah.
We are going to find that very interesting.
It is a lot like looking at your own middle school haircut and being like, ooh.
Yeah, I look back to like 2000 and when did it come out? 2004? 2005. The shaggy hair, it was just a style. It just didn't age well.
I love it. I think it's like, you know, it's like of the times, of course, but I'm like, something different. You know, it differentiates the movie, the one with the hair.
And I find because a lot of the actual graphics and stuff still ages very well and doesn't look very outdated now, the hair is one of the only things that really sets the Harry Potter franchise movies into
true.
a specific time period. Everything else feels appropriately like timeless and good, but the hair sometimes you're like, oh right,
but 2007.
You know what?
If I could have kept Daniel Radcliffe's hair in that movie, I probably would have, because, you know, Harry, shaggy, messy hair, and it's
I do
he's
feel
very
like
well
Goblet of Fire
groomed,
Harry was good hair for Harry, not for really
Ron
anyone
and
else.
and the Weasley twins. No, get that out of there.
Like, you think with the first Weasley twin, you'd wonder. The second time you do the haircut, you should know it's a mistake. Like,
I mean, you can see each other and go, you know, it doesn't look that good on us.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shay, what about you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the other one. I'm Shay.
The other one.
Yeah,
You are your own person.
Yeah, I am also a Slytherin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I know.
worse Slytherin.
Here.
She's like a slightly nicer Slytherin. My favorite book is Half-Blood Prince, and then my favorite movie is Prisoner of Azkaban.
So basic.
I know, I can't help it. I just can't help myself. So for me, how I got into Harry Potter was, I guess, a little weird. It was the second book series I had ever read. So prior to that, I'd actually had reading difficulties. And like during school, I was out in the hallway with a teacher's aide, learning how to read books line by line. And then one day I picked up my first series ever, which was The Lord of the Rings, and read it in entirety, all 3 books. And after that, I wanted to read something else. I was excited, and I was looking for something that was also kind of fantastical, because I loved that. And we had the first few Harry Potter books at home that my brother had read. And so I just picked those up and just went through. I think there were 2 out already, and just went through them so quick. And it was wonderful, and it was really good for me because it had the type of magic I wanted, but also the heroes were kids, so I could really relate to their struggles and like mature alongside them. And I thought that was really fun.
You know, my listeners are going to call bullcrap on this, because you said I had reading difficulties.
And
so the first book I read was Lord of the
Rings.
I was like,
I know. I did an interview with the Tolkien Institute for their archive on people's Lord of the Rings stories, and they were shocked too when I was being interviewed. I was like, it was my first chapter book. Like, I went from like, my pony Sam, he's so cute, to like, the Lord of the Rings. I don't know how it happened. I'm aware it's very strange and like a very sudden burst of literacy, but that
just
is exactly
kicked in
how
for
it
you.
happened.
Just took a bit longer.
I just woke up one day and I was
the way he
different
describes
person.
this tree, it's so
Gosh darn, I love trees.
So good.
It's so good. So good. Yeah, I freaking love The Lord of the Rings too. I think, you know, years and years from now, if ever I finish Harry Potter and still want to keep podcasting, I might do Lord of the Rings Retold and go through that one.
Call me up, because Tori doesn't want to talk Lord of the Rings for 7 years.
I've never read Lord of the Rings, so we could do it where I read it for the first time and you already know.
I feel like Shay would be livid if you never read Lord of the Rings, and then one day I called and said, hey, you want to talk about it? And you're like, I guess I'll pick it up. But fantastic. And so now, having heard your wonderful fandom IDs, we're going to be moving on to our Quizzitch section. And so this is our wonderful game show portion of the show, where I try to show off my Harry Potter knowledge, because I pridefully believe I am the most knowledgeable Harry Potter fan in the world. And I proved it with book 1, because it was me versus the guests representing the world. And I won by a huge lead of a half point. It was amazing. It's somewhat still disputed, but on this one, I'm actually getting wrecked. I'm getting destroyed. The very first episode, my wife, who has never read the Harry Potter books, she just read the first 2 chapters of book 2, and she destroyed me, because she's like a high school English teacher, and once it's in there, it's in there.
Oh yeah.
And so she was doing my thing where she goes, I'm sorry, do you want a third question? Do you want another one? I was like, no, you shut up. That's my line. Stop it. So it hasn't been good. And the last few episodes have all kept the same pattern. So let's
tell
see
your
what
wife we
happens
say
today.
thank you, because teachers are heroes and we need them.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Yeah, she is a wonderful, wonderful lady. Love her. That's why I married her. So anyway.
Trivia question, which Hogwarts professor is your wife?
Anyway, let's move. So here we go. No. I'm trying to think. I don't know how to answer that question.
We'll give you some time.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. I'll have my people get on it. Anyway, moving on. This is how it's going to work, people. Shay's going to ask me her first question. And then
Okay.
I will ask Shay a question, and then Tori will ask me, and then I'll ask Tori, and we'll keep going back and forth like that. And
Okay.
we actually have a butt ton of questions here.
We were over prepared.
Fantastic. Let's keep
Just
it
love
going.
trivia.
And yeah, I love it. I think my listeners just turn off the episode once trivia is over. So
Trivia is fun.
This is great. We'll keep it moving. All right, Shay, let's hear it.
Okay, so in chapter 13, Gilderoy Lockhart writes a get well soon card to Hermione Granger. List the credentials Lockhart cites on his card to Hermione.
Okay. He's going freaking Daenerys Stormborn on it because he lists so many different titles.
Yep.
All his accolades.
He says he's what the Merlin thing? Third class, like what's the thing called? A Order of Merlin, third class.
Correct.
Winner of which weekly smile, like best smile award 3 times in a row? 6 times? Does it say how many times?
Yes, it does.
Oh, in between 3 and 6, 5?
Yes.
And you know what? That's all I got. I can't think of any of the others. What are the others?
The one you missed is honorary member of the Dark Force Defense League.
Okay. I'm going to give me a half point. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Half point.
It was sort of like a 3-part question, and it's like 5 parts if you count the numbers as an individual thing to remember.
But I'm podcasting through it. I should know the answer. Also, Shay and Tori have already podcasted through this episode or through these chapters. So they already have a leg up on me. This isn't fair, guys. So Shay, your first question. In the incredible song that the dwarves sing,
oh no,
Harry's hair is described as being black as what?
Chalkboard or blackboard.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding. I wonder if that's
Nice.
different in like the different versions between like the UK and the American edition.
I feel like blackboard sounds more British to me than chalkboard.
Well, I have definitely the American edition on here, and it says blackboard in this one, but I haven't listened to Jim Dale's audiobook version in a minute, and that's definitely the British version. But
yes.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. You got it right. Good job.
Yay!
All right, Tori.
Yes.
What you got?
All right, let me just go over to my list. So, going back to Lockhart, how many people sent Lockhart Valentines on Valentine's Day?
46.
That is correct.
Yes. I'm snapping like it's a poetry read. I mean, the last question kind of was, so.
All right. So your question, Tori, is what month does the diary flip to and pull Harry in? Shay told me to give you the hard one, so I...
Oh my gosh.
I'm the real
Isn't
Slytherin
it
here.
June?
June is correct.
Oh, yes.
Okay. She's like, isn't it? Checks notes.
Oh.
June.
Going through my like encyclopedia in my brain.
Yep. So ding ding. All right, you guys still got the lead on me. Shay, your question.
Yes. So after Lockhart refers to Flitwick as knowing more entrancing enchantments than anyone else he knows, what does Lockhart call Flitwick?
A sly dog.
One word missing in the middle?
Creepy dog? What's the word missing in the
Sly
middle?
old dog.
Oh. All right, I got another half point.
Okay.
That's acceptable.
Yay. Dang it, sly old. Because I remember I even underlined that going, I'm going to talk about that. That's funny.
Oh, Lockhart.
Well, I love Lockhart in this book. I love him so much. He's so funny. Awful person. But anyway.
Yeah, the worst.
So, Tori, Shay, your question is, who did they almost play in Quidditch?
Hufflepuff.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. Okay, you guys are killing it. I told you guys these people are experts.
We just read the book. we
just read it.
You'd be
20 minutes ago.
So doing this with like every episode is a different guest host.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have the guest host ask first because, and even people who like are huge Harry Potter fans, I gauge my questions based on what they say. Yeah. And it's always like, it's either like easy questions or medium. This is the first time you guys are going, I'm throwing a fastball right down the middle. I'm like, shoot, that's a tough one. So
We're sorry. We like winning, so we gave you
I
questions.
appreciate it. You're keeping the pattern of book 2 going. I needed to be humbled. Tori, what's your next question?
So, who was the headmaster in Tom Riddle's memory?
Oh, thank God. It was Dippet. It was Dippet. It was his first name Armando?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I just had the last name though. Headmaster.
I wonder
Dippet.
what country he was from. That doesn't sound like a British name. Like
somewhere
like
in Europe,
Spanish,
probably.
It's nice to think that they imported some professors from abroad to diversify the teaching force at Hogwarts.
Right? Tori, your other question is, what food does Oliver Wood load up on the plates of his team before the match?
Is it kippers?
Nope, it is not kippers. But I'll give you another guess.
Kippers. What else is
y'all need to eat? And he's just loading it up.
Like eggs?
Dang it, eggs is correct.
I'm trying to think. They always talk about having kippers, and I remember when we first started reading this, we were like, what the heck is a kipper?
Yeah.
I don't know what a kipper is either.
It's fish.
Oh. Just so gross, because in my mind, it's
English breakfast. Yeah, they eat fish in the morning. I'm like, that's
weird.
Not something I relate to. So my next trivia question for chapter 14, which is Cornelius Fudge, is who was attacked with Hermione by the Basilisk?
Penelope Clearwater.
Yes. AKA Percy's girlfriend.
Booties.
Yeah. And so I guess your question will be, how many points do you get if you throw a book through Myrtle's stomach?
Is it 5?
No, it is 10.
10. Okay.
10 points if you throw her stomach.
I remember 50 points for the head. So I was like, what else was it?
And Shay, what's your question?
Yes. How do you know when mandrakes are fully matured?
I'm going to give the appropriate answer, which was they are trying to climb into each other's pots.
Correct.
That's what they're doing. I wrote down in my notes for the pod, I was like, it's mating season. So,
oh my gosh.
They could have just been moving in together. You don't know. It's first apartment.
I heard that on your coverage. You go, and that's the sign that you've reached full maturity. You voluntarily move into another person, like move in with another adult. And I was like, that's a tame way of putting it.
It's a children's book. Sometimes we try and remember
That's
it's
true.
a children's
That's
book.
True. Yeah, I don't like getting into
and then sometimes I forget.
Well, there's tons of times that there's an innuendo with like something that's mentioned with the students, and I'm always like, sidestep that. That's wrong. Keep it moving. Yeah. I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
Shay, how many school governors are there?
Just think of Lucius Malfoy.
I don't want to think.
Tori definitely knows. She definitely knows over there.
I mean, I think I know.
I don't think I remember, but I'm going to guess 17.
The answer is 12.
Oh, yes, that's right.
There are 12 governors. You'll find all 12 signatures right here. So get the frick out, Dumbledore.
Yeah, right
all right. And then, Tori, what is your question?
So when discussing courses for third year, Ron mentions wanting to give up one subject. What subject does he want to give up?
Ron wants to give up Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Yes.
Because he's like, I didn't learn nothing from this guy.
Anything.
Except not to set pixies free.
Yes.
So, all right. Similarly, Tori, your question is, how does Dean Thomas choose his courses for next year?
Doesn't he close his eyes and poke it with his wand?
He does. That's how he chooses. Ding, ding, ding. And so I think I just have one more question.
I have one more as well.
Okay, cool. You go for it.
Okay. When looking at the subjects, which two does Neville specifically inquire about regarding which will be more difficult?
Neville inquires about... Oh, I have no idea. So I'm just going to throw it out there and say arithmancy or divination.
Arithmancy is correct. The second one is think of another sort of difficult sounding subject that you wouldn't recommend to Neville.
that I wouldn't recommend to Neville. The Care of Magical Creatures?
Ancient runes.
Ow, rats.
The kind of subjects only Hermione takes willingly, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
no one else.
I don't know what the score is now after all those questions. Shay, you have one more, and I don't know what the score, but you guys definitely won this one. So
Tori's, I think, doing perfect so far. I don't think she's made a mistake.
I got one wrong.
Oh, okay. We've both had one mistake.
Shame.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Shay, your final question. I need to find the spot because I did have another question and you guys asked me it. I was like, rats get you though. Anyway, here you go, Shay. Your question. Hermione is reading a book in chapter 14 whenever they go to tell her about what is it? When they go to tell her about the
secret diary.
I want to get this right. The Secret Diary, yes. And so what book was she reading?
What book was Hermione?
This one's very hard, and I'm very sorry, but it's just the one that popped up.
I almost made this a question, but I was like, nah, it's a bit hard.
It's very hard.
What would Hermione be reading? Rare Poisons and Their Anecdotes?
No. Tori, what's the answer?
It's something to do with ancient ruins. It's like she's studying for just like the subject of ancient ruins
made easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, listen, it wasn't fair, but I lost anyway. So
that was a fair question. I should have known that.
I only really remember that because I almost made it a question.
Yeah, I made the how many points through her head a question, and then you said it. I was like, well, can't do that one. And then the how many Valentine's Day cards did he get? I was like, can't do that one.
Yeah,
I probably could have just kept it going. Anyway, that's it for our Quizzitch section. Listeners, hope you enjoyed that and hope you got a few right too. Moving on now, not so fast. That was a lot of Quizzitch. And it may have been a little confusing with all of my half-point talk and all that stuff, but the score was 9-10 before this. And ultimately, I decided not to give myself those half points. So, if you're keeping track, the final score after today's episode is, drumroll please, 14-15, which means the score didn't really change at all. Womp womp. But what that does mean is that it's neck and neck. So that's kind of exciting, right? Anyway, before we can return to the podcast, we must still answer the audience Quizzitch question from last week, as well as give you your new question. So last week, your question was, in what class does Ginny Weasley sit next to Colin Creevey? And the answer to that question was Charms class. It was Charms class, everybody. Anyway, your question for this week is, in the song that Ginny writes for Harry, to what does she hearken Harry's eyes to? She says that his eyes are as blank as blank. That's your question for this week. If you want to send me your answer to that question, you can email me at theretoldpodcast, or you can send me a message on Instagram at theretoldpodcast. Now, back to the show, to our chapter coverage of chapter 13, The Very Secret Diary. So, listeners, how this is going to work is, normally I begin with some opening thoughts, and then we just recap the chapter. And the way that it works is I say everything that happens, basically, and Tori and Shay can interrupt me as they see fit. If you hear them jump in, they're not being rude. They're being a part of the show. So, and you guys can let me ramble as long as you want, or if the moment something strikes you, say it. Either one is fine. Now, I wanted to do something interesting for my opening thoughts. Usually I say what I think about the chapter. Instead, I went back and listened to y'all's coverage of these chapters from 3 years ago. And I have notes.
Oh boy.
And so these are some of my notes that I wanted to include. The first one is I had a few questions. Okay. Shay, do you still have a picture of Orlando Bloom in a
I do. I have an autographed picture of Orlando Bloom as Legolas.
That's
amazing. I got for one of my birthdays when I was young. Yeah.
Yeah, you said in that episode, you said, I would keep it under my pillow, but it's in glass being protected. So why would I do that?
I stand by that. That's correct.
Yeah.
The other one was, Shay, you said your very first crush, your first celebrity crush was Goku from Dragon Ball Z.
That's true. That's embarrassing. I say that publicly. Wow.
So, and then another one, this is what I was scared to mention because a lot of people have the same opinion as you guys on this, and I am one of the dissenters. This is a Valentine's Day chapter, and both of y'all said you hated Valentine's Day.
Yep.
I love Valentine's Day. I know, like, again, listeners, you need to go listen to their episode because they make fun of it and it's very funny, and they talk about some of their Valentine's Day escapades.
Oh, yes.
That makes it sound like we're out and about on dates.
No.
It's not what
We just had an anti-Valentine's Day party.
We didn't go. It makes us sound way more social than it really was.
No, that's called a tease, get the listeners in on it.
Yeah.
But no, I freaking love Valentine's Day. I know, because what you said was, I feel like it's just this like commercialized thing to get people to spend money. I'm like, listen, I get it, but I'm down for any reason to celebrate, any reason to party, So I was like,
That's true.
You know what? Why not do something a little special? It's kind of fun, kind of enjoyable. I so rarely get an excuse to do stuff like, the answer is, why don't you just do it every day? And well, that's way more difficult. So I'm just going to do it on the day that everybody says to do it.
You should pick a very obscure, arbitrary holiday and really go hard for it every year. I think that you're the type of person who would really love like Arbor Day and really vibe with the trees or whatever,
Let's do Flag Day. Why not?
Sure.
Yep, sure.
Pick
Let me
a day.
see. I'm looking at some of my notes that, you said you guys hate embarrassment humor. At
I
least
can tolerate.
Shay said she did for sure.
Shay can't do anything that's
I can't do
embarrassing.
Like, I'll
really
watch
bad
the
secondhand
goriest
embarrassment.
horror movie you can imagine, but if you make me watch a comedy where there's something embarrassing happening, I'm flinching, I'm closing my eyes, I'm in pain.
I like it to an
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah, you said that on the pod of like how you were more at home watching like gore and horror, and I thought, oh my gosh,
I would rather watch The Human Centipede than most like early Adam Sandler movies. Yeah, I can't do it.
So here's the thing. On that second part, I disagree, but on the embarrassment humor, I'm right there with you. One of my favorite TV shows is Friends. But even that show has a bunch of embarrassment humor. And there's episodes I won't rewatch. My wife makes fun of me because if we get to a scene that's like embarrassment humor, I hide under the covers. Like I pick it up, I cover my ears. To this day, I refuse to watch Scott's Tots on the episode.
Oh yeah, I
of
can't
The
watch that
Office.
episode either.
Never gonna do it. I get to the point right where he has to admit that he doesn't have like the scholarship for all the kids, and I shut it off because I'm like, can't do it. Never gonna happen. So I understand. Anyway, the other thing that I had to make note of was when you guys were talking about Harry jumping into the diary. It says Harry's writing down in the diary, and I imagine he wrote, "Hello, diary. It's me, ya boy. What it do?" And that is a direct quote from their episode.
He's a 12-year-old boy. That's how they write.
I mean, that's how we think how they write 3 years ago.
Yeah, I've never been one, so I don't know, but in my mind.
I'm going to say another direct quote because I did think this was funny. I'm not going to include the whole quote because it's slightly spoilery, but
okay.
In this chapter, Jenny sends a lovegram to Harry.
Yes.
And she's super embarrassed by this. Mm-hmm. And this is a direct quote, like verbatim from Shay.
Oh, no.
"Girl, you got this. Don't worry. We all go through this phase where we have weird eyebrows and have bad crushes, but you're going to flower into a majestic BA." And I loved that. So I thought it was worth writing.
We are both pretty big fans of Jenny in the books.
Oh, she's amazing. Just amazing. But anyway, that's all my opening thoughts on this chapter. Did you guys have anything you wanted to say?
The weird eyebrows.
Sounds like something you'd say.
Listen.
Yeah, so we had like a few notes. I think, Shay, you have a note before mine.
Yeah, actually, one of the things I thought was really interesting is that since the Harry Potter characters, at least with us, aged along with us, they cover a lot of like common elements of growing up. And I think it's interesting because this chapter opens with Hermione still dealing with the repercussions of being very furry. And I think it's an interesting way of covering an actual aspect of like preteen life and puberty, because you sort of also wake up one day and have body hair you're not used to. And I find it's kind of relatable. And yet it's covered in sort of a fun and whimsical way. And they touch on that a bit with the mandrakes too, when they talk about them having their acne and rebellious teen phase. And I just think it's really interesting how they do the job of connecting really relatable parts of life and normalizing it, but also adding the whimsy. I think that's
still
fun.
Magical,
especially when you're that age, and you wake up with armpit hair for the first time, and you're like, "Oh my God, what am I?"
Is this?
Yeah, that's a really clever insight. I never even caught on that before.
Thanks, I have an unused BA in psychology.
I mean, you use it for the podcast occasionally.
And Tori, did you have anything?
Oh, Shay had a point about, Shay had a point about Filch.
Oh, yeah. I just feel bad. He's walking around cleaning up everyone's messes with no magic, despite the fact that he's deeply resentful of all of them having magic and being brats. And it feels kind of cruel to make the one person who can't use magic to clean up the messes manually do all of this work all the time. Like, I know he's the worst, but I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. And I'm 100% in agreement of like, that's cruel. That's weird. He shouldn't be there. And I was trying to think, if I were to argue for it, what would I put forth? And I thought potentially the only thing that could make this situation good is if, like, let's say he's a danger outside of Hogwarts, like to in the Muggle world, like he would just do awful things to, like, that sounds terrible to say, but he would just be bad in the Muggle world. And maybe it's like, or even he would get hurt in the Muggle world. Being so used to wizard stuff. So maybe it's for his own protection. That, again, probably not, but that's the only thing I could think of.
I mean, it could be for the classic Dumbledore reason that there's something about Filch that Dumbledore wants to benefit from. Like maybe someone who knew Filch wanted him out of the way, and Dumbledore is like, I can get in your good books by taking him out of the way. Like some sort of next level manipulation plan that involves keeping an eye on Filch, you know?
And my listeners will be thrilled that we finally have a Dumbledore hater on the show. Because it's me. Yes,
if Dumbledore has two haters in this world, it's me and Tori. If Dumbledore has one hater in this world, one of us is dead.
That's so funny. At the beginning of this podcast, like one of my first episodes, I was like, I love Dumbledore, but don't worry, guys. I'm sure we'll have some Dumbledore haters on eventually. And you know, every single episode, people are like, yeah, I like him. And I was like, again, I need some diversity. And listeners, look no further.
Yeah.
We found the culprits.
The Dumbledore Hate podcast is like the other, what we alternatively called our podcast, because every episode we say something about Dumbledore. And it's not nice.
But I will defend a little bit. It's very funny the way you guys do it. It's not like, I don't know. There's some Dumbledore critiques that are like, oh my gosh, I get it. Give it a rest. But I don't know. It is very funny the way you guys do it. So listeners, it's very funny. But
we try so hard.
Anything else?
I had a point about the get well card Hermione receives from Lockhart and how she keeps it under her pillow, which is so preteen girl.
It's embarrassing and relatable. You know what I mean?
And also Ron finding it and being kind of like incredulous, because Ron is... we found that girls mature faster than boys, so Hermione has this big crush on Lockhart, and Ron and Harry are just like, I don't get it.
Cooties part 2.
Too cootie or too... I tried to do the Fast and Furious reference, and it did not come out well.
Too fast, too cootied? I don't know.
Well,
Tokyo Drift.
I know. So without further ado, are we ready to hop into the recap?
I just have a few more points. So
we're like this. We're sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's
just
great.
The last point about kind of the main part of this chapter is they find this mysterious diary that has not been written in. And Ron goes on this kind of tangent about from his father being like, you never touch a book that you don't know how it like works. And he kind of lists all these facts off about all these books that Arthur has told him about that do bad things. And it's just like, he's really listening to his dad.
He is. And then the crazy part about that one is like those things that he says are terrifying, absolutely terrifying, and like life ending, you know, like your way of life is done. And Harry just goes, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Harry didn't really learn like Harry's that 12-year-old boy where he's just like, I'm just going to do it anyway.
I also kind of love it as like an allegory for the actual power of books and literature. Like for us, we're not going to read a book and turn into a frog, but you can read a book and absorb the ideas, and it can have like a lasting impact on your life, whether that's in a good way or a bad way, you know, propaganda books or history, just understanding things differently. So like I like the idea of interpreting it that way as well, because Muggle books can be dangerous too, you know.
Yeah, be careful what you read. It'll I mean,
as I make my way through the banned books list that I've been reading my way through, I think it's fun to do that, but also it's interesting to be aware of why books have been banned and
banned book list.
There are, it's your country mostly. You people are crazy. I love
banned books.
There's a lot of books that are frequently banned, things like Lord of the Flies, Fahrenheit 451, in a lot of some of your states. Some of them are like some countries even banned Harry Potter for a while because it was like
Witchcraft.
anti-Christian because of the
Witchcraft.
magic. So I've been making my way through frequently banned books just to understand what they don't want me to know. So I think that's why it's so prevalent for me.
What are they hiding?
Exactly.
It's so funny. Like I am a pastor. All right. I it's my job to say Bible to people, and people bring up all the time, Harry Potter, isn't that witchcraft? And I was like, first of all, you don't know what real world witchcraft is if you think that's the case. And second, Harry's a Christ figure. What are you talking about? Like, he's literally a Christ figure. And that's all I'll say about that at risk of spoilers. So moving
Don't
on.
you spoil the Bible, okay? I'm waiting for the movie. I'm joking. I'm joking. I read it.
So on that note, are we ready to start the chapter?
There's the section we might need to edit out. In Hein, there's something in that section.
Keep it in. I love this. This is literally the longest I've ever gone on a podcast.
We're so
without
sorry.
hopping. No, this is great. I want you to be 100% you, because I've enjoyed every minute.
Okay.
So here we go. I will see if I can remember, like, read my notes, because as Shay and I talked about earlier, I have terrible handwriting. Anyway, after the polyjuice bender that they were on, Hermione has a not so good hangover recovery in the hospital wing. She got to spend a couple of weeks in there decatting, People gossip around the school like, dang, the heir of Slytherin can freeze cats and turn people into cats. That's crazy. Ron and Harry are bringing her all her homework. Ron is me when I get sick, because he's like, why are you even doing this? Like,
That's me too.
When I was a kid, I loved getting sick, because I was like, no homework, no, I'm not doing anything.
Get to watch The Price is Right all day.
And now as an adult, I hate getting sick, because it's like, I still got to do the work. I just got to do it sick.
Exactly.
Anyway, Hermione says, you boys think of anyone else? And they go, we know it's definitely not Malfoy. Is that helpful? She's like, we already learned that. Yeah. They go, okay, just in case you forgot. Harry, with his keen seeker eyes, sees a glint of gold under Hermione's pillow. She tries to hide it, but Ronald's too quick for her. And what is it? It's a totally appropriate get well card from Lockhart, who has more titles than Daenerys Stormborn.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember for the life of me. I'm a terrible fan. They're about to make fun of her, but Pomfrey's like, girl, I got you. Boys, get out of here. So Harry and Ron start walking the corridors when they hear old Filchy sounding off about something. And they go to the spot where he was hooting and hollering about some big old mess waiting for him, and they wait for him to leave. And where's the mess in question? It's right outside Myrtle's bathroom. There's a bunch of water on the floor leading into her toilette. So they go into Myrtle's bathroom to investigate. And I wrote down, I like I like the sign, the note. It says they see the sign about do not enter. They ignore it like usual and just keep moving.
That's a Gryffindor attribute.
It's a suggestion. It's
Rules
not
for thee, not for me.
Gryffindors. Ugh.
Inside, they find a very not happy Myrtle. Harry's like, Myrtle, what's up with the boo-hoos? And she said somebody tried to throw something at her, and Harry, not thinking really, goes, what's the big deal about that? And she gets very upset at this, going, oh, yeah, sure. Let's just all throw something at Myrtle. 10 points if you get it through my stomach. 50 if you get it through my... Actually, in the movie, I like the version. If you get it through her head. And she just screams really loud. Funnily enough, we do find out that no one actually threw anything at her. And I wish they all said that, because it said that she was hiding in the U-bend. So it's like, it was never clear to me growing up reading, oh, nobody actually threw anything at her. They just flushed it down the toilet.
How would you know that there's a dead girl in the toilet? Like, honestly, it's not something I check for. I check for spiders occasionally at the cottage, but I'm never like, hello, any dead girls in there?
Maybe at Hogwarts you should.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, they see the thing that was clogging up the toilet, and it was a diary. So I made a note that I said, have either of y'all seen Black Clover?
I don't think I have.
No? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, when I first read this, it said Black Cover, but I thought it said Black Clover, and I was like, oh, that's Asta's book. But it's an anime reference. Only losers watch that show, whatever. Anyway, Harry's about to read it when Ron's like, yo, be careful. And he gives Harry what I consider to be a very terrifying warning. You know, we talked about it. Some of the warnings were like, if you read it, you'll be stuck singing forever, or you can only speak in limerick. Somebody died. Somebody could never put the book down.
Yep.
And Harry goes, yeah, whatever. Anyway,
classic Harry.
I'll read it. And then I said, there's a funny note on 231. What did I mean? I said, Harry peeled the wet page apart. They were completely blank. There wasn't the faintest trace of any writing on them. And this is the most random line, I feel like, in the whole series. He said, there wasn't the faintest trace of any writing on any of them. Not even Auntie Mabel's birthday or dentist or 3:30. And I was like, why did those things come to your mind, Harry? That's just a very random suggestion.
I mean, I guess those are the types of things, you know, your aunt's birthday, you're not going to remember that on your own. And dentist appointments, you want to not remember that on your own.
Yeah, back when people actually used like day planners to like remember things. Nowadays, you just have your phone.
I don't even use my phone. And I'm always like, oh, shoot, that was today. You know, I'm so thankful that I have a wife who is like, babe, you said, remember, we were going to do this on Thursday. And I was like, oh.
It's Thursday?
What day is
That's
it?
crazy.
I mean, I don't know what he was expecting in there. Like, I think Severus Snape is the cutest. Like,
you would say that, Shay.
Yeah, I would.
The heir of Slytherin is this person, and this is how you get into the chamber.
Oh, yeah, that too. Same.
Let me make it real easy for you. Harry examines the book, sees it was owned by a T.M. Riddle, and Ron's like, I know who that is. And he says, yo, that was the dude who won special award for services to the school 50 years ago. And Harry
like,
has his...
How the hell do you know that?
I'm sorry, Hermione, your voice came out of Ron's mouth just there. Like,
it's really what I wrote down. He has his own, I didn't know you could read moment. You know,
really?
Essentially he's like, how the frick did you know that? Not nice, Harry. Ron's a smart guy. Ron says, well, Harry, if you'd been paying attention to me in chapter 7, you'd remember that I had to clean the whole thing up real nice. And Harry says, oh, yeah, I do remember that. That's a cool detail people can catch on their next read through. And they both look at the camera. Anyway, we also get the most random line. Oh, I already said that. Anyway, Ron makes a funny joke, but Harry keeps the book. What's the funny joke? What did he say? Sometimes I think in my notes I'm going to remember, and I don't remember. Oh, he says, if it had, it might have hidden powers, said Hermione enthusiastically. If it has, it's hiding them very well, said Ron. Maybe it's shy. I was like, oh, it's
Ron.
Nervous. It's a little shy guy.
Shy book.
Finally, after more than a month, Hermione gets out of the hospital wing. You guys make a great point in your episode of like when you covered these two chapters of, man, Hermione was in the hospital for over a month here. And then, you know, at the end of the next chapter, when she's petrified, like she's back in, that's almost half her school year just stuck in the,
what did she learn?
Hospital wing.
I don't know.
Yep.
Not a dang thing. Anyway, in Gryffindor Tower, Harry shows her the diary and they connect the dots about Riddle's diary being 50 years old and him winning an award for service to the school and the Chamber of Secrets being open 50 years ago. Harry, for some reason, can't throw the book away. Weird. Anyway, they go to the trophy room to check out Riddle's award, and they also see that Riddle won a few other awards too. And Ron makes fun of Riddle for being like Percy. I know you guys love Percy.
I mean, I don't like to say we love him. It's just that we
talk about him a lot.
I think we can empathize with Percy.
Well, they all do treat him pretty bad.
Yeah, they all kind of make fun
Bill
of him.
Weasley.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Bill Weasley, but
it says, so Ron goes, he sounds like Percy, said Ron, wrinkling his nose in disgust. Perfect head boy, probably top of every class. And this is such a sad line. Hermione goes, you say that like it's a bad thing, said Hermione in a slightly hurt voice. And I was like,
for like her whole brand.
Seriously.
I know, that's my thing. What are you doing? Some time passes and the vibes at Hogwarts start getting better because there hasn't been an attack in a while. The mandrakes are starting to hit puberty, so that's pretty cool, and everybody's getting hype about that. Ernie and Peeves still think Harry stinks. It was like, you know, forget that guy. Lockhart takes the credit for stopping the attacks, says, he says this crazy thing. The culprit must have known it was only a matter of time before I caught him. Rather sensible to stop now before I came down hard on him. And I was like, catch him anyway. What do you mean? Yeah. He goes, I decided since he stopped, I wouldn't do anything. But it's like, bro, He's already
That's not how
attacked
the
some
law
students.
works.
Yeah. I believe he's talking to Minerva McGonagall too, and I think there
Of all
should be
people.
a rule that once per book, Mini G is allowed to hit someone, and I think in this book it's Lockhart, and this might be the moment.
She would have already done it. She would have come for him way
She
before
puts up
this
with
moment.
so much.
Anyway, Lockhart's like, this school needs some better vibes, and he's got just the trick. The next day, Harry walks into the Great Hall, and it looks like Valentine's Day threw up in there, and the place is covered in pink and red roses. I love the part where, like, it says, you know, Ron is just so not happy, and Hermione's just giggling. And Lockhart stands up at the teacher's table. I love, you know, all the other teachers. You know, it says, like, McGonagall's jaw so tight. Snape has, like, a twitch on his face. They hate it. Lockhart says, I know this place looks awesome, y'all. You love it. You're welcome. Anyway, check this out. Super uncomfortable thing I have for everybody. You're welcome. And some dwarves walk in. And I made a note of this. I wanted to share some of your thoughts about the dwarves. Because when you guys were talking about this chapter, one of the really things I thought was funny was Shay said, maybe, because you guys were like, how can we make this okay? How can we make this somewhat okay? And Shay goes, maybe they're off-season dwarves, you know, like from Lord of the Rings, you know, and like Tolkien dwarves of, you know, it's, you know, half the year is mining season. And then maybe the environment's not good to mine during this time of the year. And so they got to go find other work. And this is just what they do. Work. And Lockhart's actually employing them.
Yeah, exactly. If they're getting paid their fair wage. And you can't mine Mithril all year. You know, you've got to leave the mines be every once in a while.
You can't delve too deep or too greedily. So,
or else you'll find Gilderoy Lockhart, the scariest thing you could be trapped in a cave with.
Oh, God.
I just picture that scene of like Legolas looking terrified of the Balrog, but instead it's Gilderoy Lockhart walking around the corner, holding his book going, me.
Oh, gosh.
To be fair, if I ever actually wrote a book, I would do that all the time. I'd bring it with me and just pull it out and be like, me, all the time.
I do that with the podcast. I do that with the pod. All those like, hey, me.
Yeah, we do that too. We're like, hey, Mom, it's my podcast.
Thank you for listening.
Love you, Mom.
So I also wanted to ask you two, 46 people, you know, as we discussed, sent Lockhart Valentine's Day cards. Would you have added to those numbers if you were in Hogwarts at this time?
No.
I don't think so. I think 12-year-old me would be too embarrassed.
I can honestly say that we had a high school teacher who all of the girls loved and thought was just the greatest thing ever. And I wasn't about that life. I think so. When I think about how the girls treat Lockhart, I think of how uninterested I was in that teacher that all the girls liked. I'm like, no. I mean, I like Snape, so it says a lot about my psychological makeup that like I wouldn't be sending Snape a Valentine either because I am aware of the person he is. But like.
But he's nice to look at. Why not?
Yeah. You know what? Listen. I've talked about it with my psychiatrist. It's fine.
Every woman I've had on the podcast, I always ask them, hey, did you find Lockhart attractive growing up? And every single one of them, no, not really. And my response is always, Hercule Poirot? You don't think he's good looking?
He's better as Hercule Poirot. I think personality plays a huge part.
That's one of the most
I would rather him as a detective
takes.
or a.
Because you're not the first person to say that, going, Hercule Poirot Lockhart is much better looking. And I'm like, the mustache?
I mean, I don't like mustaches. They make me nervous, but personality-wise, he's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a much better character, but that mustache, I've never seen anything like it. Like it goes and it's not a Fu Manchu, but it does something after the lip that's weird. I don't get it. But you know what? Good for him, I guess.
I'd take a detective over a narcissist. You know what I mean? Like if I had to choose.
You could have both. He's capable of...
Get you a man who can do both.
Anyway, the dwarves go around spreading Valentine's Day cheer and love to everybody. And y'all, one of them has a message for Harry.
Oh, boy.
And I love this moment.
Harry does not want
so
this.
much. Like, I know we talked about embarrassment humor hurting. But I did.
I actually think this is a fun kind of embarrassment, but Shay finds it really secondhand embarrassing. But this is it's fun to me.
I mean, yes, if you take it out of the context of children's book, it's gross and uncomfortable.
Yes.
But in the context of children's
like
book,
I
it's
wouldn't
really
want it to
funny.
happen to me, but it's funny how it happens to Harry.
Because I love the moment of him, like he hears the dwarf go, "Oi, Potter," or
like,
Harry,
nope.
whatever he says, and Harry's like eyes get big. Oh shoot, I gotta get out of
He's
here.
like, get me out of here.
Not only that, he starts to run.
Yeah.
Dwarf grabs his bag and the bag rips. And I love how Harry starts to try to put everything back.
Yeah.
And he's about to sing. He's like, screw it. And he tries to run even with it. He's like, forget my stuff. I'm gone. And the dwarf and keeping it going. It's just so funny. The dwarf knocks him over and just like sits on top, like makes himself comfy. Time for your love song.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, poor Jenny though. I hate that part, because the song's from her. She needs to work on her writing skills.
Yeah. It is very impressive that she actually sent it, because I feel like that takes a lot of courage.
Honestly, I don't know why she did. I was thinking about it. I was like, that's bold move, Cotton.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she thought it was anonymous. Like in my mind,
she didn't sign it. Everyone just knew it was her.
So in her mind, she's like, Harry will know someone loves him and it'll make him happy, but he won't know it's me.
Oh, well, that's my question. Is like, how the heck did Malfoy? Because we come to find out that Malfoy knows that Jenny sent the love, the whatever song it is, and I'm like, how did he know that?
I feel like
Malfoy's a smarmy little git. He's always stalking people.
Despite being annoying, he is very perceptive about like people's strengths and weaknesses and how he can use them against others. And he can kind of tell, because Jenny's hanging around, he can kind of tell.
Maybe he was behind her in line when you fill out the papers to hand to the dwarfs, writing some love letters for himself so he would look desirable.
Oh.
That's my headcanon.
I was about to ask, who did he send it to? And
himself, from Anonymous.
I thought you were about to drop a Dramini fan theory on me, and I was like, don't do it. I hate Dramini so much.
Yeah, we're both anti-Dramini.
I can't, like, this book makes it so clear. I'm like, he is an awful, awful person.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I definitely think that Dramini is a thing because of Tom Felton and his version of Draco, and that makes sense. But not in the realm of the book, at least to me. But people can ship what they want.
Of course. Yeah. Just
just
might
not
be
for
wrong. Anyway, Malfoy picks up Harry's diary and is like, I'm going to take a peek.
What does Malfoy think that Harry's writing in his diary anyway? Like, it's such a random thing. Like, ooh, your diary, Harry. What does he think?
We already know. It's me, ya boy.
Yeah. Does he want to find like himself in there? Like, oh my god, Malfoy looks so nice today with his hair slicked back.
Oh my gosh, I wish my hair could look like Malfoy's hair.
Either. The only thing worse than Hermione is literally tried to kill each other. Anyway, Harry snipes his diary out of his hand. He gets it back. Malfoy says some mean things. And one thing I noted, I was like, Harry uses red ink. What the heck? That's a crazy man's move.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like gel pens back in like elementary school.
Oh, he's a gel pen girly.
Yeah.
Like doodling like clouds and
like, I feel
rainbows.
like as kids you have to write with pencils, but like whenever you had like free things, like I want to use like a purple pen because I can.
I wrote my history exam essay in purple crayon. Yeah. Thank you very much.
What grade were you in?
12.
We had a cool history teacher.
He was chill.
Sounds like it. Like it. Anyway, I'm just trying to picture that right now. In Crown, how long was that essay?
I mean, I think it was 4 pages. It wasn't
that Crown's
bad.
running out.
Well, I'm a sharpener. I'm not a savage. Come on.
Colored pencil or Crown?
Crayon.
This is wild. You're a crazy person.
Yeah, I know.
That night, Harry sneaks off to bed early to have himself a little diary sesh.
Yeah.
And as we know, it's me, your boy, coming in. What it do? I'm not gonna lie. Tom Riddle comes on pretty strong here.
Yeah, I agree.
He opens up
like,
the writing.
You need to like me. Please like me.
Well, not only that, he sounds like a red pill guy. Coming in here, of like, there's some awful stuff going on that they're trying to hide from you. Nobody will tell you the truth, but I will, Harry.
Don't eat the pizza.
Y'all just met. That's crazy, Tom.
Harry's pretty naive. He's just like, I have no reason to question this, so I won't. And it's like,
he's
Harry,
never read the National Enquirer, so he's just like, it's written down. It's got to be true.
It's in this book that's talking to me.
Yeah, I wrote down, Harry proves to me here that he would be taken in by a cult.
Yeah.
It's like just immediately from all these things.
Dumbledore's pretty lucky that he hasn't been taken in by a cult already.
I was going to say, yeah, Dumbledore basically is the cult Harry was taken into. But it's fine. It's fine.
Fair enough. So Riddle says a lot of stuff like, yeah, the chamber was open 50 years ago.
Mhm.
Nobody will tell you the truth. Only I'll tell you.
Yep.
And
Little
Harry's
lore
just
drop.
like, tell me more. Like, sounds
Give me all the
awesome.
facts.
A person claiming to have all of the information that nobody else does sounds safe and trustworthy.
Sign me up. Here is my social security number.
Accept all cookies. And Riddle's like, well, why tell you when I can show you? Which, to be fair, is the mark of any good writer. Riddle's like, I hate exposition. I'm going to show, not tell.
Yes.
Harry looks around. He does double take and
He's
goes,
like, what do you mean?
Harry's like, let's do this. Not suspicious at all. So anyway, the page of the diary flip to the month of what, Tori?
June.
She's an expert, everybody.
Yes.
And Harry gets Mario 64 right into the diary.
Wow.
Have either of y'all played that game?
Look, I'm really bad at video games and they give me motion sickness.
I definitely have played a lot of Mario games with my honorary niece, and I'm not very good compared to her.
I just get thrown into lava by people who are supposed to be my friends.
They're lying to you. In that game, Mario jumps through little portraits to go into different worlds. But that's what happens here. Harry all of a sudden finds himself transported 50 years into the past, into the former headmaster's office. I like when he shouts at Dippet because he's like, hey, I'm going to leave. He thinks he can't hear him. I'm going to leave. And the guy's like, all right, old people, whatever. Before Harry can go though, Riddle shows up, and Riddle basically asks Dippet not to send him back home over the summer. And Dippet's like, can't do that for you, Tom. You're an orphan. And where do orphans go?
Orphanage.
The orphanage. Tom's like, you got me there.
Yeah.
Dippet says, however, Tom, I could let it slide, but we got this whole, people being killed by a monster thing.
Not a good time.
Yeah. If somebody could put a stop to that, maybe you could stay. Looks at camera. And Tom's like, you don't say.
The time and true tradition of Hogwarts headmasters making all the hard work be done by young children. As is tradition.
I didn't even think about that. If man, it would be so great if somebody could just save the school for me, Anyway, Riddle heads out of there. I also like that Harry catches Riddle's lie. Because Dippet goes, do you have anything to say, Tom? And Riddle goes, not a thing. Harry goes, sounds familiar.
Yeah, Harry's seeing a lot of himself in Riddle.
I wonder why. Interesting.
Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Wink, wink. What'd you say, Shay?
Every headmaster needs a pale orphan to boss around. Also part of the Hogwarts tradition,
Yeah.
Keep it going. Anyway, Riddle heads out of there, and Harry follows behind him. At one point, they run into a younger Dumbledore who's like, better not do anything sus, Tom. Tom goes, nope, not a thing.
Of course not.
Dumbledore says, okay. It just moves along. Also, Dumbledore's a redhead. Who knew?
Honestly, I'm not surprised.
What do you mean by that, Jay? Don't answer that. Riddle heads down to the dungeon. I was on a... I'm not going to say.
My apologies to Bill Weasley. You're wonderful.
Riddle heads down to the dungeons and hides in the potions classroom, just waiting for somebody to surprise. And somebody does appear. They tiptoe behind him. I like how Harry's like, I got to tiptoe too, even though no one can hear me.
He never fully grasps how going back into memories works in any of the contexts. Even in other ways, he looks at people's memories later on. He's always just like, hello.
Yeah, like,
hello.
Oh, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
There's a car alarm going outside. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Okay, fantastic.
Can you hear my laundry machine? It's singing the song of its people in the next room.
Song of its people. No, I can't. Anyway, somebody does appear. They tiptoe, and the figure gets to a door, and he tries to coax his pet monster into a box. And Riddle jumps out from the corner and is like, "Gotcha, big boy. The jig is up." And the two have a bit of a scuffle. And in the mix, the monster, which turns out to be a giant spooter, hops up out of there, does Harry a fright.
I mean, I understand. Giant spider, I can't deal with that.
I'm opting out.
So originally I thought, yes, terrifying. But then I thought of, I think it's Max the Spider. Have you heard of that guy? The little guy on YouTube? He's just a cute little animated spider.
Oh, you mean
guy?
Lucas the Spider?
Lucas, that's what it is. Yes,
Tori!
Lucas.
Yeah. Fun fact, I actually worked on that TV show.
No.
That's your jam, Tori.
You are now officially the most famous person I've had on this podcast.
Yeah. I didn't work on the YouTube part, but a production company bought the rights from the guy that created him, and I worked on that TV show. That's why I'm like, this is all combining together. This is so weird. No one ever talks about
Lucas the Spider. He's so adorable. One time, like, my wife and I were like, we just finished a TV show, and she goes, "What should we watch next?" And I was like, "Would you believe it? But I found something." And I started just playing Lucas videos, and she's like, "Can you please change it?" I was like, "This is wonderful. What's wrong with you?"
Lucas is pretty cute. The only spider I trust.
That's the only spider you should trust.
Yes.
Lord knows you should not trust the spider we eventually meet.
No.
Anyway, Harry, he gets all scared. He's like, "Oh," and the little guy scoots on out of there. At this point, Harry gets kicked out of the diary and finds himself back in bed, and Ron walks in. Sup?
Yeah.
And Harry, the little snitch, says he knows who opened the chamber 50 years ago. It was Rubius freaking Hagrid. And that's the end of the chapter. Yay.
Ron doesn't even question where Harry was. Harry just was like, has been through a journey, and Ron's just like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?"
He's like, "Why are you sweating?
Why are you freaked out? What's going on?"
I mean, not uncommon for Harry, though. He's like, "Frick, what now, Harry?"
Yeah, Harry's always in a
just waking up sweaty.
It's exhausting being friends.
He's
with
always
him.
going through something.
I didn't realize until like reading this chapter this time around that the word Hagrid is never said in the memory. And so like the way that it's written at the end when he goes, "It's Hagrid," I feel like the reader is supposed to have forgotten that Hagrid's name is Rubeus, because it's said before. This isn't the first time we're told.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the reader's supposed to have forgotten. And when Harry says it at the end, it's meant to be like a big reveal.
Yeah.
But right away during the memory, I was like, "Oh, it's definitely Hagrid." I mean, again, I do a podcast on this, but I thought it was obvious.
Yeah, I agree. Like, even though he doesn't think of Hagrid as Rubius, he definitely knows. And I feel like if someone told me something about one of my teachers and told me their first name, I would still know who they were talking about. Like,
I feel like because it's a children's book, they kind of like spoon feed you a bit in the earlier books, which does get a bit annoying as the series goes on. We've talked about this in our Goblet of Fire conversations, where they kind of really like point out like this is a big thing, and like I get it.
The recaps at the beginning of every book.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's
like,
what you missed on
picking
Glee.
up Order of the Phoenix and is like not aware at this point.
Yeah, at this point, if you're getting into Order of the Phoenix, which is a big boy of a book, you're like, I get what's going on now, okay?
All right, and with that, we're moving on to our favorite lines of this chapter. What do y'all want to say some of yours real quick, or we can bounce back and forth?
Well, I know what Shay's is going to be.
What is it?
Took me some time to find one, but I think my personal favorite, not at all because I'm biased, is
of course not.
Why not ask Professor Snape to show you how to whip up a love potion?
Meanwhile, Snape poisons you for speaking to him.
Then it says something about Snape, like nobody, like Harry would never ask him the way he's looking right. Oh, it says like
nobody would, right? He's the last person you'd ask for something personal and embarrassing, and also like the context in which love potions are referred to often in the series is terrifying when you consider what they are. Like,
yes, don't let me forget to talk about that.
We'll talk about it later, but like it's very talked about lighthearted in the book, and it's like actually feels like crime.
Feels like a crime.
We'll say just a small thing about it in the restricted section, but I really want listeners to listen to your episodes on this one, because you have a really interesting conversation about love potions and said something I'd never considered before. So listeners, go.
I don't remember what I said, but I'm sure it was fantastic.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything.
It's been 3 years since we did Chamber Secrets, so it's fun going back.
That's why I find this so funny. I'm like, I hope they've forgotten everything.
I have.
And I can
no
just
memory
remind them, be like, we said
I forget,
that.
like, what we Goblet of Fire so long. I'm like, I forget what we say 5 episodes ago.
My Tori, did you have a favorite line?
Mine was just, I love Peeves having a Potter You Rudder song, and now it mentioned that he has a dance routine now to go with it. And just in general, Jenny's Valentine super cringe, but also super cute and fun. I love it so much.
Poor Ginny.
See, I find the Potter You Router song less traumatizing because Peeves made it up himself and chose to publicly present it. So, like, it's a little bit embarrassing for Harry, but I think, like, it hurts me for Ginny more than it hurts me for Harry with the Ginny love song. And I'm less embarrassed by what Peeves is doing because, like, he chose to do that willingly of his own accord. And it's not even that traumatizing for Harry because he's so used to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's like, while it's still awful for him, it's like, I'm used to awful.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet every Valentine's Day in the future, beep, Harry.
Spoiler alert, save it for the restricted section.
I mean, my philosophy, we don't do spoilers on our podcast because I'm like, this book came out in 2000 and whatever.
Yeah, I know. I've heard you guys say that before. It's just a bit. I'm well aware probably nobody is being spoiled.
I think it's lovely that you do that because we just aren't willing to put in the work of editing out ourselves saying spoilers.
And
it helps. I feel like it helps me to be more funny because it's like I can just go, oh, I wonder, and then everybody's like, hey, it makes them feel special because now they have a restricted section to listen to if like we're VIPs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it.
That's right. It's really just all selfish. Anyway, some of my favorite lines I liked when Harry's talking about Harry and Ron are talking about Riddle's shield. For the award and how big it was. Ron says, good thing too, or it'd be even bigger and I'd still be polishing it. And I thought that was funny of him. Like, I'm glad it wasn't that big at all. Like that.
Yeah, Ron would still be there to this day. Seeing that shield.
To this day. I also liked Lockhart. So you said the one about him talking about Snape, but I also enjoyed him going, and while you're at it, Professor Flitwick knows more about entrancing enchantments than any wizard I've ever met, the sly old dog. And I just thought, Lockhart doing Lockhart things.
All the professors are so embarrassed.
Yeah, and Flitwick's like, don't look at me.
They're like, oh my god.
I
wonder if they're like, who okayed this? You know?
Yeah, I bet nobody okayed it. Dumbledore doesn't pay attention unless it directly involves Harry Potter. And
who said that?
So.
And then my last favorite line was, Riddle, quiet as a shadow, edged through the door and followed, Harry tiptoeing behind him, forgetting that he couldn't be heard, just because I thought that was funny.
Classic Harry.
Did you guys have any others?
No, that was all I had.
All right, so now what we're going to talk about is our Transfiguration section. And so these are changes that the movies made from the book. So I have them written down here. The first one, there's not a lot, honestly. In these. I mean, granted, always there's omissions throughout the movies.
Yes.
There's a bunch of things they don't include. So for example, the big thing they don't include in this chapter is all of the Valentine's Day stuff.
Yeah, I think Jenny's Valentine would have been a cool thing to see in the movie, but I get why it was excluded for pacing reasons and stuff.
It physically hurts me to imagine it happening.
Yeah,
but
you would not have
understand
enjoyed that.
Why it would have been really fun for like everybody but me in the entire world.
I can't wait for this episode in the TV show when they get there. Gonna be great.
Oh no. I also think that maybe the reason they skipped out on Valentine's Day and like singing dwarves and stuff is because early on they decided, I think, to gradually have the themes be slightly darker in each film and even the filming style be slightly darker. And this is one of the goofiest things to happen in the franchise at all. And it would have made this film feel sillier than the previous one, which would have interrupted that like gradual darkening of the themes. I think it's just too silly.
Yeah,
to be
it takes a bit away from the pacing where they're
Yeah.
kind of like moving the mystery element apart and Harry being
it would
targeted
make the
by
third movie look really, really bracingly darker than this.
Yeah, I like that take. It was too silly to be allowed.
There's a lot of silly moments in Harry Potter that don't get included just because pacing wise, it's like it takes away from the focus of the movie. But
if it was a Marvel movie, it could be the
show.
Post-credit scene.
Oh
Just
my
like,
gosh!
But it's not.
This movie does have a post-credit scene.
Yeah,
it's the only one that does.
See, we haven't seen it in so long. I was like, what happens in this movie?
You're like, yeah, I definitely remember. That's crazy. Anyway, the other change was in the movie, Harry used it like a normal person, black ink instead of scarlet ink when he's writing in the diary.
Yes.
Tom Riddle's name is different on the diary as well too. In the movie, his full name is on the diary, but in the book, it's just T.M. Riddle. And then finally, there's a bunch different about the memory scene when they're when he first shows up, he's not in, when Harry first goes into the diary, he is in the headmaster's office in the book, but in the movie, he's in the stairwell. And you actually see the dead girl's body being taken out. And you don't see that happen in the book. And that whole conversation with Dippet takes place with Dumbledore, not Dippet. So anyway, those are all the transfigurations I have for this chapter. Finally, moving on to our last section for this chapter is the Golden Snitch section. Yay. So this is our cool little lore grabs, little behind the scenes things, or just things that I caught. And honestly, for both these chapters, I don't have a lot. Like it was, this is a dense chapter, but there's not a lot of stuff in here. One thing I took note of was Vauxhall Road. It said that the orphanage was on Vauxhall Road, or at least that's where, that's not where the orphanage was. It's where, it's where he got the diary. And on the trusted Harry Potter wiki, it says Vauxhall Road is a street in London, England, where Riddle, like you said, bought the diary. Spoiler. The address of this business, which was printed on the back of the diary, led Harry to conclude Tom Riddle was Muggle-born. But interestingly enough, there is no Vauxhall Road in the real London. Ooh. However, Vauxhall is the name of the London borough of Lambeth's administrative district. I don't know what that means, but it's on the Harry Potter wiki. If that means something to British listeners, you're welcome. And a Vauxhall Bridge Road is part of the London Inner Ring Road. So there you go, everybody. That's a fun one. And then the other other golden stitches I have, you have the mention of Aparecium. Hermione uses that spell. It's just a revealing charm that if you are writing in invisible ink or using a spell to keep your stuff invisible, it's like Revelio, but for words. And then finally, the Revealer. She uses a little magic eraser that does the opposite. It's ironic because it does the opposite of what an eraser does and makes words appear.
And nothing comes up.
But nothing, apparently it's a sucky one because it doesn't work. It says here on the wiki, a revealer was a magical device used to render invisible writing visible. It had the appearance of an ordinary Muggle eraser, although it had a bright red color. And I did think this was interesting. A revealer is featured on J.K. Rowling's official site. It can be used to reveal a clue to obtain extra content. It appears slightly different from its description in the book, as it is depicted as being similar to a white eraser on the website. Wrong. They got it wrong. Don't even know their own content. Crazy.
She also needs to sort out her life, clearly.
So that's all we got for the Golden Stitch section. Let's keep it moving then. On to Chapter 14, Cornelius Fudge. Opening thoughts. I didn't write any down.
As always, we have some thoughts. So as we said, we are doing Goblet of Fire on our podcast. So we have been coming back from a very different Fudge. So it's very interesting to go from what we were reading about him in Goblet of Fire to back to now in Chamber of Secrets.
It's a bit of like whiplash.
Yeah.
And I'm preemptively mad at him.
Oh, boo, this guy stinks.
Yeah.
Anything else?
They talk about career options in this book, which is interesting, but it also reminds me that they're all 12 and it seems very young to be like deciding your future career.
It's on point. On point.
It's pretty premature. Yeah. I relate to Hagrid deeply in the fact that he's so upset in this chapter he can't make a cup of tea properly. I've definitely been in that situation where I'm like, oh, a nice soothing cup of tea, and then I'm so distracted I screw up my tea.
Have you also pointed an armed weapon at children before?
I don't hang out with children generally, so...
You know what? I like that that's the point you say. No, not that one.
Yeah, and just general Hermione going off and doing her own side quests and not telling Harry and Ron anything. Just very...
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah. I also have a point, and I don't know if this is the right spot for it. It might have to slide down deeper into your points in the edit or something.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting that Dumbledore says, I will only truly have left when no one here remains loyal to me. I find it so interesting that he specifically says loyal to him and not like loyal to the values of goodness, not to the good side. And to be honest, if you take this quote out of context, it sounds like something Voldemort could have said.
Ooh.
Or any other cult leader.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, that's a good point. Listeners, I told you it was going to happen. Yeah. I did Harry Potter Jeopardy for the end of book one. Like at the end of every book, I have like a game of Jeopardy. And there's a line that Voldemort says that it was I always value bravery. And both the people competing were like, that's got to be Dumbledore. And it's, nope, it was Voldemort. So that's a good connection there.
They're like two sides of the same coin, in a way.
Yeah, at some moments, certainly. Well, let's get into it. I wrote at the beginning, LOL, they try to act like last year was so long ago. So like at the very beginning, it says, during their first year at Hogwarts, Hagrid tried to raise a dragon in his little wooden house, and it would be a long time before they forgot the giant 3-headed dog he christened Fluffy. And it's like, guys, that was just last year. Why are you acting like we'll never forget that? Fair point.
Everything seems so long when you're a kid, and it's like that was 4 months ago.
And again, because I guess the target audience was people like age 12 to read this book, they're like 12-year-olds probably forgot what happened in the last book. So we're going to remind them what Hagrid's been up to previously.
The target audience is me. Thank you very much. It's got to be
all 12 ones.
Yeah, 28-year-old white men. To the target demographic of Harry Potter.
You people think you're the target for everything.
Sorry. My opinion matters. Anyway, I wrote down. All of them are like, yeah, it's probably Hagrid. Checks out. And I said Ron's comment is wild because eventually Ron says, Riddle does sound like Percy. Who asked him to squeal on Hagrid anyway? And I was like, bro, somebody died. What do you mean who asked him to squeal?
It comes back to like Ron has such like a really deep sense of loyalty. So to him,
toxic loyalty is what it is. This like blood is thicker than water. You have to always side with the people who you like, no matter what.
And Hermione kind of brings up the logic. I'm like, well, someone died. Wouldn't you tell if someone had died?
If Tori killed somebody, unless they were a really, really bad person, I think I might, be not okay with it.
That.
Tori, now you know who not to tell.
I just need her held accountable for her actions.
Of course.
That's a good friend right there. The trio decides not to ask Hagrid any questions yet. They're like, let's wait and see if anybody else almost dies, and then we'll ask.
Yeah, then we'll figure it out.
Some more time passes. Things are looking up. The mandrakes are, that's where I wrote it down. The mandrakes are in mating season. Sprout is hype about that. She's like, it's almost time, y'all, and then we'll be good to go. And I might edit this out. We'll see. But I wrote down Christian wedding night rapture joke. And so
you have one? Are you going to share with the class?
I'm going to share.
Okay.
And so she actually says like it's almost mating season for them, when they climb into each other's pots.
Yes.
And it made me think, I'm a youth pastor, and one thing that gets said a lot is like it's a joke in the young Christian community of like, I hope Jesus comes back, but not before my wedding night. Like again, it's a wild thing to say, but they're like, I got to experience this one thing before Jesus comes.
That's usually what I say before like big events, and I'm like, if I die before I go see the Eras tour, it's like I'm gonna be so mad.
Listen, Lord, if you could hold off just a little, I understand there's the promise of like perfection for all eternity, but this right here, Eras tour. Gonna be
it's important.
Maybe the Eras tour was the perfection for all eternity.
And you're welcome back to hell. Once you
I never get invited to hear the jokes for the Christian community, so it's new to me.
Anyways, speaking of Christians, it's Easter, so time to pick classes. That's what you do on Easter. I don't know how that egg thing got started. I didn't read that anywhere.
It probably came from the pagans. Honestly, they like to borrow all the cool stuff from the pagans.
People just want craft. Like, what should we do this holiday? Let's dye some eggs.
Something easy. I remember. I think I heard one person explain it that it was like meant to be some symbol of rebirth. I don't even know.
Yeah,
who cares?
Eggs,
we're moving on.
Rehatching. They're choosing their courses.
Like the Phoenix. Yeah, they're picking their classes. I really liked y'all's discussion on this.
Yes, very important decision.
So 2 good points you guys made were that these kids definitely need some guidance on this.
Yes.
These are some big decisions of like, listen, if they dropped this course, that means a lot.
It's good that they're not allowed to drop courses, because I think if I was 12, I think we said this in our episode, that I would drop math because I hated math.
Absolutely.
But math's really important.
I dropped math as soon as I could drop math. And then when I got to university and I had to take algebra to get into stats, I was doomed. And I got like a D+ and barely passed because I dropped math as soon as possible.
No, I was the exact same way. In my undergrad, I was a history major. And that was only because I wanted to do the least amount of math possible.
Yes.
Like I cheated all through college math and I still got a C. Like
You're not even good at cheating.
I'm not even good at cheating.
I'm doing an accounting class right now and I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, my father didn't have to take math at all in high school. Because when he was in 8th grade, this is a different time, you know, like back in the 60s or 70s, whenever it was, the middle school math teacher, and I think at his school it was like together, middle and high school was same entity. And the math teacher was a man who hit on him as an 8th grade boy. And so the school, rather than doing anything, was like, how about he just doesn't take math? And my dad's parents were like, yeah, okay.
What?
That's the story of why my dad only has 8th grade math level.
Oh my God.
Is it too late for him to sue the school board? You know?
I don't think so. That guy might be dead by this point. Who knows?
Yeah, but in retrospective, the school board can still pay him out a settlement for not getting to learn math.
And don't people love to sue?
Your country loves suing people, right? I feel like this is a totally valid reason to sue someone.
Goodness. Some of your episodes, you guys talk about the legal system in Canada, and you speak very positively about it.
Do we?
It's just at least the episodes I've heard. Yeah. And I'm like, nobody ever says positive things about the American legal system. So I was like, it's nice to know you guys got it figured out. That's cool. But
I think it might be a little different for me than Tori. I feel like if I was sued and in court, I don't know if I'm entitled to have them talk to me in English. So I might be screwed if I ever get sued, but Tori will be fine.
Shayna lives in the province that like is more French based. And so they have different rights and stuff. There's different rights between each province. But
I mean, we don't have different rights, but we have different rights.
You mean like different rights or different laws?
Yeah. The laws are the same, but because Quebec has a lot of language laws to protect and sustain the French language, there's things like you have to be greeted in French first by someone like in a store or a shop. And like you have to be able to communicate, like people in certain jobs, including like doctors and stuff, have to be able to talk in French, and that means they don't always have to be able to talk to you in English. And like if you're on transit and the metro breaks down, the announcement's only in French. And there's just things like that. Like there are signage laws where they can go in and fine your company if the sign on the wall doesn't have the French a certain amount larger than the English.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It's a little bit bananas. We recently had a huge problem, the most Canadian problem in the world, where some of the language law people were trying to sue the transportation companies because the front of our buses during the playoffs said "Go Habs Go." Like for the Montreal Canadiens hockey team, they go by Habs. It's their nickname. And they tried to sue the city for having the buses say "Go Habs Go" and that's "Allez Montréal LA," which is French for "Go Habs, Go Montreal Go." And like the whole city was like, no, chill, it's fine. But that's a thing that happened. Like they were trying to sue the city over the language
Canadian
in which we were cheering. Like the bus was talking
That's so
about
fascinating.
The hockey team.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Reasons why I don't live in Quebec.
Sorry, you can cut all of that. You don't care. Nobody cares.
No, that's so bad. I'm keeping that every bit of it in.
A little bit of Canadian history.
I love, more. Anyway, Dean has a funny way of choosing his classes. We already said it, of him just blindly picking.
Yeah, guessing.
Percy actually gives Harry good advice, I feel like. You know, when he's telling him of what classes to choose. Let me get to that section. Where did I have it?
I remember Percy's all talking about where he's like, where do you want to go, Harry? Because Percy's very ambitious. So he has goals. And
he's thinking about the next steps.
And Harry's 12. And he's like, Harry, what do you want to do after you leave here? Because the world is your oyster. This is such a big moment for you. And Harry's like, I don't care what classes I take.
I know. And play to your strengths, Harry. He says a moody line. Play to your strengths. I did think this was interesting, though. He says, look at my father. He has to deal with Muggle businesses all the time. And that sounds like a very positive thing. Like he just spoke positively about Muggle studies. And it's just nice to hear Percy say something nice about his dad, or at least affirming not just of his dad, but of his dad's career choice. More on that in later books.
Yes.
But anyway. Keeping it going. Anyways, things look good for Harry, so something's got to mess up for him real soon.
Yeah,
as
Harry
always.
just decides to take all the same classes as Ron because then he'll have a friend, and I feel like that's very relatable.
That does
I
feel
love
very
that.
relatable. Just
I
like
feel like I
fine,
took certain classes in my schedule just because I knew my friends were going to be in that class.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends was put in my math class in grade 9, and they moved her to another class because there were too many people. And I got so mad about them removing her from my class that I said, "Take me too," and made them switch my classes too. It was just like there was no reason for it. But
on y'all's episode for this chapter, one of you said that there was a teacher you really liked and a teacher you did not like. Yeah, taking and it wasn't made clear to students which teacher was teaching the subject, but it could have been one of the two. And you were like, I'll take both and I'll at least have half a good time.
Yeah, that was business and law class. I remember that.
Yeah, we went to a very small school. So like
all our teachers had to teach 7 subjects, some of which they weren't qualified to teach.
But like you wanted certain teachers for certain things because there was some good teachers. There was also some bad teachers.
Was this high school or college?
High school. Yeah.
High school. At my school, they had one class per grade. Mm-hmm. And because I'm a twin and my twin sister and I, we were going into 6th grade whenever we were going to this school. But they said, hey, we don't have enough spots left in the 6th grade. Do y'all just want to go to 7th? And we're like, sure. So we just skipped 6th grade.
That's fun.
Yeah, states are crazy.
Right? I mean, to be fair, middle school grades don't count for nothing. It's just the high school grades that colleges will look at. I don't know if it's like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think anyone ever looked at middle school.
The only thing they look at for middle school grades is like when, for at least in Canada and Ontario, when you're going into high school, they have different stream levels for the core subjects. So there's like kind of advanced level English, and there's like medium level English and lower level. Mm-hmm. It just changes how they teach you, really.
Yeah, we had applied an academic level for like most of the
so for middle school they kind of look at like how well you do, and then like this is the recommended level for you to go into in high school.
They put me in the wrong math. They just did not check.
They put me in the right science, and I thought I was smarter than I was, and then I almost failed.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
So something does go wrong for Harry. Neville shows up and tells him, dude, we've been robbed. And they get into their dorm and the place has been wrecked. And you guys had a great observation talking about this one where you were like, Ron just goes all detective on this because he's like, look, the pockets have been turned inside out. That means somebody was looking for something.
Ron has his moments.
Good catch. Anyway, they clean the mess up and figure out that the diary is gone and that only a Gryffindor could have stolen it since it all happened in their common room. Anyway, it's Quidditch time. Like, because that's how like the section ends in the book of just space. It's Quidditch. Wood is being a good captain, making sure his team's getting plenty of protein, eating a bunch of scrambled eggies.
Yep.
Harry sits at the table like this. He's looking at everybody like,
Who stole
any of you?
Who stole my book?
It could have been any one of you losers. Hermione urges him to tell. Harry has a change of heart about being a snitch, though. He's like, nope, ain't gonna do it. Not on one of my boys. They make their way to Gryffindor Tower to get Harry's Quidditch stuff. When Harry hears the voice again, and Hermione's like, bro, I just figured it out. But let me be super sure about this first and go to the library before I tell you anything.
Classic Hermione just wants to do everything, but she'll never tell him what she's doing. She's like, I have an idea. Bye.
Have y'all seen the TV show Apothecary Diaries?
No.
Think so.
Me neither. Anyway, there's a character. I know some of my friends who enjoy that TV show. So half of my listeners, I guess they'll appreciate this. There's a character on that show who, like, before she accuses anybody of anything, she's like, conjecture shouldn't be spoken aloud. I need to verify this first, and then which is often very frustrating again, but Hermione and her, very similar characters.
Yes.
Anyway, it's time for Harry to go to Quidditch. I said I got to highlight this one line. 255. The only comfort was that everyone was now outside to watch the game, which is like, I highlighted that because literally, Harry's freaking out about, he just heard the voice, but he goes, you know what? I don't need to worry. Everybody's at the game. It's like, dog, your best friend just said she's going to the library.
Harry has short-term memory.
He's a freaking goldfish. He was just, oh, we're all good. No worries.
I feel like his brain is so Quidditch involved, like on the fact that Quidditch is about to happen, that he's just like, nobody would possibly not be at the Quidditch game because it is the single most important thing in the world right now.
Oliver's brain is just all Quidditch all the time, and Harry has like moments where he's like, okay, it's Quidditch time. Like 90% of his brain power, Quidditch.
Very absorbed.
Just dedicated to that. So the match is about to start when Psych, what do you call her, little G?
Mini G.
Mini G. When Mini G comes out and says, it's canceled. Got a big old megaphone, purple megaphone. And she tells Harry to come with her. 2 lines to point out. One is when Oliver Wood, he comes running up to her. And it says, Oliver Wood, looking devastated, landed and ran toward Professor McGonagall without getting off his broom. So I guess you could say he has big broom energy. I'm just picturing him running like that.
See, this is the only moment in the series where they actually do Muggle Quidditch, where you're running around holding a broom between your legs.
The other line, let's see, was, Harry going, basically saying, like, how can they possibly suspect it was me? I'm here.
He's like I have an alibi.
You guys all saw me.
I would never do crime during Quidditch time.
Yeah,
I know. This
priorities.
Exactly. Ron joins them, and they all go to the hospital wing. Little G, I had that. Little G,
Mini G.
Not
Mini G is in small. Mini G is in Minerva.
Yeah.
So it's like Mini G is.
It was an accidental mispronunciation on my
there's
part,
a bigger G.
and now we just go with it.
Yeah, I like
you just
that.
can't type McGonagall. Like McGonagall's too hard to spell. I was
about to say, who's Big G?
No.
She's Mini G.
Mini is short for Minerva, which is it's cute, I think.
Yeah.
Imagine calling a baby Minerva. Like she had to have had a nickname when she was younger. Minerva's not a baby name; it's a grown woman name.
And I remember I was shocked when I learned that like Jenny's real name is Generva. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But anyway, Mini G says there's been a double attack, and this time they got some poor Ravenclaw girl. Don't worry about her. Harry's like, oh, yeah, I remember that person. Anyway, who else was it? She goes, Hermione. And he, no!
Oh, the shock.
I do like the writing in that moment because, it reveals that it's the Ravenclaw girl. And where is it? And on the bed next to her was Hermione, Ron groaned. It's like, I don't know, it was a cool way to reveal it in the writing. But anyway, back in Gryffindor Tower, Mini G tells the see, I got it down now. Mini G tells the students all the new safety rules and how they can't have fun anymore.
Can't do
that they may need to, they may need to shut that school down, which is crazy that they're just now considering this.
Yeah,
honestly.
Do they decide how important students' death and petrification is based on their GPA? Like,
In Georgia, we close for like bad weather, like slightly bad weather.
You're in Georgia?
Yeah, I'm in Georgia.
I
in
hear
the
your
South.
Aquarium is fantastic.
It's apparently the biggest one in the world,
sharks.
I hear.
Sorry, this is not Podware related.
No,
but you've got whale sharks.
It's so funny. Like I'm definitely like spoiled because when I go there, I'm just like, meh, this is great, but like, is this really the biggest? Huh, that's crazy. I do like the layout. If nobody's going to go to these places, but in the Tennessee Aquarium, it spirals down. It's a really cool setup for it. But
that
yeah,
makes me think of that staircase in the Pokemon movie. I don't know if anyone has that vivid spiral staircase memory.
Yes. Oh that's literally what I said to my wife when we were there. Oh my goodness. Yes. That's so awesome. Thank you for saying that. I am affirmed. I needed that to get through today. Thank you.
Yay, and psychology coming in strong. You're one they tell you about the Pokemon movie.
And then at the end of that movie, freaking Mewtwo dropping one of the hardest lines in all of anime that's like, I see now that the circumstances of one's birth do not determine their worth. It's like, it's
funny because they basically say that same line in the Harry Potter books as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Crazy thing in it. Like, I love that it's in a Pokemon anime, but it's like, as a kid, that was just whoop.
It goes over your head.
It's also upsetting how much of the Pokemon movie they cut out. Like when they brought it over for the English version, half of Mewtwo's story is gone. Oh. Have you heard about this?
I don't think so.
Again, not pod related, but who cares? Yeah. In the Mewtwo movie, he has a whole backstory about when he was like a young Pokemon in the lab, and this is only in the Japanese version. A little girl meets him and a bunch of other Pokemon, and spoiler, long story short, like, and then there's also scenes of them like flying around, having fun together. And he like loves this little girl. It's his friend. It's his best friend. And I think she like dies of cancer or something.
Oh my gosh.
And so she dies and the other Pokemon die, and then he's like depressed and becomes evil.
Wow,
so that's basically
traumatizing backstory.
Yeah.
But isn't that crazy that that's all cut out of the movie? It's like, that would have made so much more sense. Cause I think she dies because the doctors could have done something. And so, or the scientists could have done something. And he's like, I hate scientists now. So it makes him much more believable.
Maybe they didn't want such a sympathetic villain because it's a kid's movie.
That's exactly
and sometimes
what
they struggle with the shades of gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. I.e. Snape.
I don't struggle with it. That's a you problem.
Anyway, enough of Pokemon, which obviously never going to get enough Pokemon. But...
This is our Pokemon and Lord of the Rings podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
With a little bit of
This is what I wanted to ask you guys about. I made a note of this. So in Georgia, when if we can get the threat of snow, just the threat, and we're like, shut it down. Nobody's going to school today. Like there was a day earlier this year, back in January, where it did snow, kind of. And so it was canceled. And then 2 days later, the snow had been cleared for 2 days, but the county was like, stay home, kids. Don't risk it. And I'm wondering if in Canada, what does it take? What weather conditions does it take?
It has to be like
to get
bad
canceled?
for driving, like either temperature wise, like below. We're Celsius up here, so like up by like -30. It's really cold, and it's more about like snow melting and then freezing on the road, which causes ice. Because we bused to our high school, so if the roads weren't safe, they would just cancel the buses. And then you could technically go to school if it was open. Sometimes they would open it, but like all the students bust. So my dad tried to drive us once. I was really mad at him because it was like the buses were canceled. So I'm like, so day. And he's like, no, I'll take you to school. And I'm like, I'm not leaving this house.
Basically, the school stays open, but the buses are canceled. So nobody shows up because bus is how most of us get there. But technically, the school stays open because I guess if your parents like work and you can't be left home alone, like they still assume some people will need to be like basically babysat during the day. But like it takes a lot of snow. Like I've been waiting for the bus stop in like feet of snow, like pushing through the snow, especially with the way the snow plowing works in Montreal. Like it's the side of the road gets covered in snow when they clear the roads until the little sidewalk cleaner comes.
So you're waiting at the bus stop
in a snow
and all
bank.
the excess snow
in a snowbank,
Exactly.
snow up to like your knees.
Or higher,
That's crazy. Like somebody could spill ice here and we're like, gotta stay at home. That's crazy. I'll die. So none of our cars are like snow ready. And
you don't even know what winter tires are.
Yeah.
No, we don't. And when the snow day happened, some of the road was covered in ice and slushy, but it's enough to send the car skidding. And I was like, I really want Domino's pizza. And I risked my wife's and I's car just to go get it because I was like, it's possible we can make it happen. Domino's? But I saw the hey, it's great. Don't you question it.
The worst pizza.
They have new stuffed crust. It's amazing. All things can be redeemed, Shay. Don't worry. With stuffed crust pizza, the little ice plow thing came through and like shoveled all the ice off the road right as I got to the road, and I was like, "It's a sign from God. I can go get pizza."
Oh my goodness!
Anyway,
our city gets so much snow. We have there are documentaries about the organization of the snow removal system in Montreal. Like we have so much snow that you can't leave it on the side of the road. So a second wave of snowplows come and they export the snow to like big piles outside of the city.
Yeah.
Because you can't even leave it in the city. Like there's too much snow to leave it there.
Yeah, Quebec gets a lot more snow because just where they're located compared to like Ontario.
We would just be like, it's gonna melt, but it's like that's too much to just let it melt.
Yeah.
It gets cold and then you just end up with too much snow. So like gotta put it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang. We're learning so much about Canada today.
Yeah.
Learn French, everybody. Anyway, I wrote down Lee Jordan would make a terrible leader because he goes,
Oh, yeah.
like he cannot be in politics because he's like, it's those dadgum Slytherins. I say we chuck them all out.
Yeah, he's gonna start a coup or something.
Holy crap, Lee. That's not how like people work, man. Anyway, Harry discovers the limits of his love for Hagrid because he goes, wait a minute, I'm gonna have to go back to the Dursleys. Hagrid, you might need to go to jail.
Yeah. Hermione maybe dying is bad, but returning to the Dursleys is worse.
You can't tolerate that.
And the boys decide to go ask Hagrid some questions. Finally, they sneak out of the castle that night in the invisibility cloak. Have either of you played the Chamber of Secrets video game?
I played the computer game as a kid.
There's moments when you have to like sneak past the prefects.
I think I remember that.
It switches from like a regular point of view in front of whatever it's called, like first person, I don't know, to all of a sudden bird's eye view. And you're sneaking between bookshelves and all that. And this is what I picture because it says the hallways are just full of prefects and teachers and ghosts. And they're just like, wait for it. You know, one of the teachers goes, must have been the wind. Yeah. They keep moving. But anyway, Snape sneezes at a very opportune moment. So they're like, fantastic. I wrote that down because
Severus Snape saving lives.
Right?
Unintentionally.
I wrote that down because I was like, I can't picture Alan Rickman sneezing. You know, like as Snape, I can't picture Snape Rickman sneezing in the movie at all. Anyway, they make it to Haggie's hut and they knock on the door and Hagrid is armed. Like he is strapped with it.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Harry's like, yo, what is that for? Hagrid says, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. None of your business.
There's nothing to worry about here.
And I want to know, like, even after this chapter, after knowing everything that happens in the book, I'm like, who was it for? Like, I know that Fudge shows up, but what was he going to do? Like,
maybe the basilisk. Like, maybe he thought there was some sort of monster killing children that might try and kill him, you know?
He's going down.
Hagrid's just on edge. He's like, something's going on. And they're coming
maybe
for
he just
me.
hates telemarketers, you know? He thinks it's the telemarketers again.
Do you think Hogwarts has like door-to-door telemarketers coming?
People trying to raise money for the Quidditch team.
Like, oh, those kids. I don't have any money for you.
Here's my coupon book.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, they go inside. Hagrid makes them some tealess tea. They're about to start talking when there's a knock at the door. The boys hide under the cloak again, and in comes Daddy Dumbledore and Cornelius Fudge himself. Ooh. I.e. the Minister of Magic. Oh. And I don't know if it's Minister of or Minister for because I see it both and I don't know what the difference means, but whatever. Long story short, the minister says, sorry, Hags, got to take you to jail. And Dumbledore literally says, that won't do anything. And Fudge turns to him and says, you're probably right, but at least it'll make me feel better.
Politics.
Politics.
You know someone's a career politician when.
It's interesting because even though Fudge is a lot different in Chamber of Secrets versus Goblet of Fire, the core of him is still the same. He's a politician at heart. Mm-hmm. It's all about appearances.
And I got furious at that one line where he says, if someone else is caught, you'll be let out with a full apology. And like, I genuinely know somebody who was in prison for years on the wrong charge. Like it was and all he got when it was over was, sorry. You're good to go now.
Get financial reimbursement for that? I feel like that's, if they wrongly convict you, you should be owed money by the state, like up to the amount of money you would have made from your previous job if you worked that time or something. Yeah,
I've heard of cases happening in that way. It did not in his case. So
I don't know why my first reply to everything is sue them. Like, I'm apparently very litigious. I'm just like...
It's hard to sue in Canada, but we always see in the States, everyone's suing each other. So like, just sue them.
Right?
Why not? Anyway, someone else knocks on the door and in walks Papa Malfoy. He talks some trash about the house and says, sorry, Dumby.
Just walks into Hagrid's house. He wasn't even invited. And he starts like talking like crap about it, being like, call us a house. And I'm like, why are you even here?
I love Jason Isaac's performance in that scene. He called us a house. Yes. Oh my goodness. He goes, sorry, Dumby. Me and the boys voted you out. Nothing personal, but you got to leave for a bit. Hagrid and Fudge both hate that. And Hagrid doesn't do himself any favors here.
No.
Like you guys talked about this in your episode, but he's like, hey, if you take Daddy out of here, people are going to die. and Even Dumbledore's like, yo, chill, Hagrid.
Calm down, Hagrid.
Like, you sound guilty when you talk like that. That's crazy. And Dumbledore agrees peaceably to leave, not before giving Harry and Ron a helpful hint. He's just like, hey, just be loyal to me.
Obey my orders, is like, and I'll be long.
That's right. No questions here. Lucius is like, nobody asked, but okay.
Fair.
I like Hagrid here because to me, he reminds me of a kid who just saw his dad do something and now he wants to try it out too. Because he's like, he sees Dumbledore give the boys advice and he's like, oh, yeah. Good thinking. If anybody needs some answers, just follow the spiders. Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy that it says like Fudge looks at him just bewildered. Even Fudge is like, what the frick are you talking about?
He's like, maybe Dumbledore should be suspended if he continues to let this clearly unhinged man.
What is this guy doing here?
He's hallucinating spiders? What?
Best part of the chapter, Hagrid does remember his dog on the way out. He's finally like, somebody needs to feed Fang. And it's a very sad ending to the chapter when, Fang's just like scratching at the door. So poor boy. Anyway, that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Yay.
Woo-hoo.
All right. What are your favorite lines, everybody?
Let me check what my lines were.
I have a bunch for this chapter,
my favorite,
so I hope you guys
the most
took them.
Iconic line, just of Hermione's character, is when Harry asks what Hermione's doing. Ron's just like, it's what Hermione does. When in doubt, go to the library.
Yes. That's just what Hermione does.
Yeah. I have two, one of which sort of relates to Tori's.
Yes.
And it's when Hermione runs off to go to the library and Harry goes, what does she know? And Ron replies, loads more than I do.
Yes, that's a great line.
Because it's correct. And my other one is Ron thinking about whether or not they should talk to Hagrid about him being involved with the monster. And he goes, what are we going to say? Hello, Hagrid. Tell us, have you said anything mad and hairy loose in the castle lately?
Ron's just
mad and hairy. Wouldn't be talking about me now, would you? I love that moment in the movie. So good. What did you say, Tori?
I'm just saying that Ron just is always to the point. Yeah. He's not going to beat around the bush or worry about
when
being
you have 7
like
siblings,
polite.
I would suppose. If you don't get to the point, you never get to talk at home.
Get your voice heard. So I'm like crossing them off because those are we think the same. So a lot of those are my favorite lines too. I also liked, but the only thing Harry felt he was really good at was Quidditch. In the end, he chose the same new subjects as Ron, feeling that if he was lousy at them, at least he'd have someone friendly to help him. Like, oh.
I always say that Ron and Harry's friendship's really overrated in the overall series. Like, fans in general just don't really pay attention to it. But I think about how important it is. And I think it's so relatable to have that one best friend. And like, if I'm going to struggle at something, I want to be with them.
Yeah. And I remember there's Harry and Hermione, I think they get a much better friendship later in the series. Mm-hmm. But, in like the next book, and minor spoiler, but like when... Yeah. Or no, book four, when things go south for their friendship for a bit.
Yes.
Harry's hanging out with Hermione a bunch and he's like, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one I really liked was, this might be my favorite line, like top 5 in this book, because I really like this. This will be a bit of a shock, said Professor McGonagall in a surprisingly gentle voice as they approached the infirmary. Again, like I love those moments of tenderness from McGonagall. So because it makes it clear that her sternness is not out of like her being mean. It's her knowing what's necessary for the students and how to be a teacher and how to handle a school. Yeah. But then she has these moments of like,
when it's required, she is gentle when it's required and necessary.
I feel like she has the hard job of often, despite being in a room full of students and teachers, being the only actual adult in the room. Yeah. And she often has to carry that burden on her own, which means filling a lot of different roles in different students' lives just because
Dumbledore's off doing Dumbledore things and she's doing the actual work.
Yeah, it's like the opposite over here of like, you have the president and the vice president, and all of us are like, what does the vice president even do?
I
like
thought he just sits around hoping something horrible would happen to the president.
That's basically it. Another favorite line I had Yet again, Cornelius, this is Dumbledore talking, I tell you that taking Hagrid away will not help in the slightest, said Dumbledore. His blue eyes were full of a fire Harry had never seen before. And it's really cool because throughout the series, there are these moments that talk about Dumbledore's eyes,
Yes.
reflecting what's going on in him. And some of the coolest, most like intimidating moments are when his eyes change from the twinkle that's always described in them to the fire that's there. And it's like, anytime this is like the most tame I've seen him with a fire in his eyes, because any other time he actually does, crap goes down. So
the warning
like
sign.
that one a lot. And then the last one I had, Malfoy talking, admirable sentiments, said Malfoy, bowing. We shall all miss your highly individual way of running things, Albus, and only hope that your successor will manage to prevent any killings, because he was like imitating Hagrid.
Yeah.
And that's all I got for favorite lines. So we ready to move on to Transfigurations?
Yes.
Yep.
Fantastic. I only have 2 here. So the first one, all Quidditch related. Like the whole bunch of stuff changed about the morning of the Quidditch match. They don't have breakfast. Like you don't see the scene of them all having breakfast together.
You don't see the eggs.
No.
Don't see the eggs. You don't. And then the Quidditch match takes place in the book out on the pitch, but in the movie, they never even make it to the pitch. They're like walking to the entrance of it, and McGonagall comes and says, "Hey, y'all, Hermione got.
Yeah,
sorry.
it's over."
And there's no megaphone. We don't get a megaphone.
No purple megaphone.
Yeah. Or I like, it makes me wonder why in the 4th movie, because Fudge puts the wand to his neck to like emit his voice, like, oh, he could have used the purple megaphone. Should just talk to McGonagall. Anyway, the other thing is that there's no Penelope petrification.
Yes.
So it's just Hermione who gets got in the movie, and no Penelope Clearwater. So anyway, that's all I got for Transfigurations. Moving on to Golden Snitches. So
I had one bit for Transfiguration, and it was just like they sort of take Percy out of this movie more than I think they should have. Like I feel like it does sound like we love Percy a lot when we don't, but like I think he's really interesting in this movie.
Everybody.
Unintentionally, he's become a third character apparently.
I just would like more of him in this film specifically, I think, especially because like he's older and we miss him. Like he goes away at some point and isn't at Hogwarts anymore. So I think they should have left him in here. He adds something that I think is lacking when he's not around.
Just one thing about the movie, I just wanted to say Lucius coming into Hagrid's cabin with a little bow in like his hair. It's just a great look.
So fashion. Yeah.
So Golden Snitches now for the first one I have, again, our little lore grabs. It's the first time we get mention of the Minister for Magic. On the wiki, it says for magic. So that's what I'm going to say here. The Minister for Magic was the political leader of the wizarding community in their respective countries around the world, and the highest ranking member of the Ministry of Magic, which they controlled. The position somewhat corresponded to the Prime Minister of Muggles in their countries as well. Skipping down a little bit, despite being the head of their respective communities, it was common for the minister to uphold a facade of peace and safety to maintain control and satisfaction of the public. So we kind of see that a little bit here.
So it's an elected position.
In Great Britain, the Minister of Magic was formally appointed in 1707 when Ulrich Gamp was voted in as the first Minister for Magic. And ministers were democratically elected through a public vote. No fixed limit existed to a minister's term in office, but regular elections had to be held at maximum interval of 7 years.
Interesting.
7, that's a long term.
That's a lot.
It's like, dang,
Wow.
I'd change my mind like every other month.
Yeah. I feel like 4.
What is it in Canada?
4.
Yeah, it's 4, but you can also like call elections earlier.
Like with Trudeau.
We had a whole... Yeah, he's like, I'm done. Goodbye.
Do an election. I'm like,
whoopsie-daisy.
Good luck. And then, speaking of political leaders, we get our first mention of Cornelius Oswald Fudge in this chapter, a British wizard who served as the 32nd Minister for Magic of the British Ministry of Magic, beginning his term in 1990. He was very reliant on the advice of Albus Dumbledore for some time. I'm looking through seeing what I can legally say,
Legally.
non-spoilers.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all you need to know about Fudge. He was elected then, sure. Fantastic.
Has a lime green boulder hat.
Yeah, he loves that thing.
Loves lime
Not
green.
in the movie. Oh, it is a little. It's in some scenes of the movie. Yeah. But that's all we got there really for Golden Snitches. I just had those two.
The one I had was, it's kind of I don't know if it's the first time Azkaban is mentioned, but it's the first time it's like really emphasized that it's the prison. And so it's kind of leading in down to the series about like Azkaban becomes kind of a big part about it being the prison, the bad place.
Yeah, I think it's mentioned once before, but I don't think they even say it's the prison. I think they just say the word.
Yeah, but here it's referenced, this is the prison, and we know it's a bad place because Hagrid's like scared. He's like, I don't want to go there.
Don't make me. And he really shouldn't go there. I liked how you guys said there should really be a like halfway house.
Yeah.
Or, there should be a jail.
Well, usually
not
there's like a holding
cell
because he hasn't been tried. And we're just like, why are they just throwing him in prison?
Right to a trial. Also, because there are Dementors, which like obviously have long-term psychological effects on people. Like it's crazy to send someone around them when they haven't been given their trial. Like there definitely should be the temporary prison. Anyhow, sorry, we have a lot of opinions on the judiciary system
that we've gone over in our episode. One thing I did want to mention, it's just maybe this might be related to like the films, movies, but I recently saw the article that Jason Isaacs did about kind of his costuming for Lucius and how he basically created the whole look for Lucius. Lucius has a very like businessy look, and he saw it. He's like, no, it's a fantasy movie. I want a wig. I want a cape. And then he kind of like made it himself kind of and showed Chris Columbus. And he's like, hey, this is what I want to do, but better for Lucius. And he's like, okay. So the Lucius look is so influenced by Jason Isaacs. And I love that.
I also have a bunch of Jason Isaac points as well for this. He's quite the guy. Yeah. One of the things I love is when I read that he first got the part, he was afraid to do it because he's like, my character is specifically described as being like really sinister. And how am I going to act out a sinister character in a movie that has Alan Rickman in it? Because Alan Rickman is obviously known for being incredibly good at being sinister. And he was like intimidated. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this because it's not going to look as good as that. Yeah. Exactly. Like, oh dear.
That's Hans Gruber. What are you talking about?
The Sheriff of Nottingham, for goodness sakes, And I also love that what he took into consideration when sort of developing how he was going to play Lucius was Tom Felton and Draco Malfoy. So specifically, he wanted the audience to get some sort of sympathy for the character of Draco and to understand why Draco is the way he is. And so he based Lucius on that.
Yeah. But I love the effort that some of the actors really went into for the characters. And it really influenced the movies because you can't imagine Lucius without like the cane and like his flowy capes and the long hair that really makes his character.
I love when the actors get to have a say in the styling of the character because it makes me feel like I believe more how invested they are and how much they're actually doing like the art of portraying someone else. Like I know Alan Rickman was very particular about Snape having to do up a lot of buttons. So there's all these buttons up his sleeves and all these buttons up the front of his cloak because he was like, that's the type of person he is. It's very important to me that he spends a long time doing up his buttons every morning. And I'm like, I love that. Or like Evanna Lynch, who plays Luna, doing her radish earrings and stuff. Like it's just, it makes me happy that they care about the character enough to like think through those little details.
That's why I think the Harry Potter movies, like we do kind of like crap on them when they change things, obviously. But in general, looking back at the series, like it was very well done because a lot of the actors and obviously all the background elements cared so much about how it looked. Like you don't really get that attention
didn't necessarily want to be there all the time. Did really good work when they were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I liked. I like a lot when actors not just get a say on the design, but even on something the character does later in the role, like once they've had time in it. And it's like, I've heard of cases where the actor goes, this character would not say that or would not do that. Not with like major changes, but with small, subtle things I like a lot.
I know Alan Rickman did that a lot because the author gave him spoilers so he could play the role properly. So there was times where he told the director, I'm sorry, but Snape won't do that. And you can't ask me why because I won't tell you.
Because it's secret. I've been sworn.
And if you read any of his diaries, Alan Rickman's diaries, you'll find out that's his dream to be able to tell a director, I'm doing what I want actually, and you can't question it. Like, I bet he wishes he could have done that in every role.
There and not Draco, what's Tom Felton? With the whole, I didn't know you could read. Like that being an imposed line. And they're
actually the actors, the kids really did improvise really a lot in Chamber of Secrets, which is funny because I think at the end when Jason Isaacs says like hope you'll be around to save the day, and Dan Rod's like, don't worry, I will be, and that was like an improvisation.
Fight me, bro. But anyway, I think that's all we got for the main bulk of the discussion. And so what I do here is we just, for everybody who is not prepared, people who don't speak parcel tongue, don't want to enter the Chamber of Secrets. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the note from Gilderoy Lockhart, can't get to the restricted section. Get on out of here, everybody. Sorry. You can't be part of the super cool guy discussion.
And that just translates to anyone who hasn't read past this chapter, right? That's what that means?
Basically. Or if you don't care about spoilers, you're allowed to stay too.
Yeah. If you haven't had anything else spoiled in this franchise for you yet in the year 2025, log off now and read them before your life is ruined. Like, to live in this spoiled-free environment, good for you, but you're in danger. Read them.
Yeah.
You are a dying
It's
breed.
impressive that you've made it this far.
Yeah, seriously.
But thank you all those listeners for listening. Again, before they get on out of here, just want to say, check out Potter Revisited. Awesome podcast. It's available on all platforms, on Spotify.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen. Anywhere you listen to it.
Yeah,
especially
check that
if those
out.
things are Spotify or Apple Music, because I don't think I've heard of anything but that. So.
I know I'm available. I think on this one is on like all platforms, but I'm like, I don't know the names of the others. I clicked the buttons for them.
That's what we did.
Okay, Tori knows. I don't know.
Yeah, I do all the back end stuff. So.
But yeah, check them out. I said this before, but it's a very enjoyable podcast. I love how much fun they have with this stuff. And I know I made fun of like them making fun of Dumbledore, but it's still very Canadian when they do it. Because it's like not even that mean.
Come for Harry Potter and you stay for, references to Taylor Swift, hockey, general Canadianisms.
The stereotype that we have of Canadians is that they are very polite. I don't know if that's
I mean,
like
I
universal.
cuss a lot.
We cuss a lot in our podcast. We've been trying very hard not to cuss.
Polite.
I don't think I've been trying very hard.
Shay's like, what are we doing?
I've been trying hard.
News to me.
I said I was a Slytherin at the beginning. No one gets to be shocked.
Fair enough. Well, without further ado, let's head on into the restricted section. So one thing I wanted to point out was early at the beginning of chapter 13, Harry says Snape had given them so much homework, he thought that he was likely to be in 6th year before he finished it. And I just thought that was interesting because it's the 6th year when he stops being their potions professor.
Oh, that's
and he becomes their
that is
dark arts
fun.
professor. And
I wonder
then
if that's an actual Easter egg. Or if it's too early for that, maybe. You got to think the author knew what Snape was doing.
Or had like a
enough.
vague plan of like where things were going to be for each book at that time.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of times where it's like, there's no way she called her shot on that one. But there are tons of ones that I think, absolutely. And especially with Snape references and with book 6 references in book 2, because I've heard often that she was actually going to make like most of book 6 content be Chamber of Secrets and make the Chamber of Secrets be what happens in year 6. And that's when Harry destroys his first Horcrux. And she ended up switching it around and having us meet young Tom Riddle first. So it checks out to me. Yeah. I have a few others, but before I say any, did y'all have any others?
Yeah, we have a bunch.
Yeah, like I think what we talked about in our episode, and bringing up again, Hermione just spends so much time in the hospital wing. And I feel like Chamber of Secrets in general kind of emphasizes how important Hermione is to the trio, because when they lose her, it's really hard. And especially Ron, I think really, you'll see later in Chamber of Secrets that Ron really feels Hermione's like loss, I think, a lot. And she just spends a lot of time in the hospital wing. I mean, the other characters that are also in the hospital wing, Colin and Justin, they also spend a lot of time in the hospital wing. And I don't know how they passed their year. This is Colin's first year.
The exams.
Colin was there from
it's Colin's
the
first
beginning
year.
of the year.
Yeah, and he's
just after the first Quidditch match.
Yeah, probably like 2 months of school, and he's just like out.
Slept through it.
Slept through it.
I have a couple of points. One of them is sort of fun and goofy. Here's a little French tidbit for you all. In order to make the rearranging of the letters "I am Lord Voldemort, Tom Marvolo Riddle" shtick work in the French language version of the book, his middle name is Elvis.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which is just kooky. It's just kooky.
Tom Elvis Riddle.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the name is. The last name is like Je de something something. But like the point is, Elvis is the middle name, and it's kooky to me. On a more serious note, they mention Harry being very attached to the diary and feeling like he can't throw it out. And me and Tori sort of both were wondering if this desire to keep the diary is because the little bit of Voldemort in the diary recognizes the little bit of Harry, a little bit of Voldemort in Harry, and like the two Horcrux pieces feel at home.
Yeah, Harry describes it as feeling like a friend. Like he feels very close to it, and he doesn't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on. Of him, like me, but book form.
He feels a connection to it. Doesn't know why, and even Ron's just kind of like, "This is an empty diary. Why are you carrying it around everywhere?"
To be fair, though, if I found a nice quality paper unwritten in book lying around, I would be like, I could use another notebook. Like there are valid reasons that are not magical at all to keep the book, you know?
Dude, I need them now for this podcast. Yeah. Like from note taking.
There's another part where, Ron unintentionally guessed that Riddle killed Myrtle when they're kind of talking about like Tom Riddle. Yeah. And he's just kind of like, maybe he killed Myrtle and did us all a favor.
Good catch. Oh, I don't like that.
That's what Ron says.
It's a good catch, but it is a rough thing to say.
It's what Ron says.
We do get some more Ginny hints too throughout this one. Like whenever she sees that Ron has the diary, or no, that
Harry has a diary.
Malfoy has the diary.
Oh, Malfoy.
And she's like looking back and forth between the two, like, oh my god! But
like, how'd you get that?
You know, and you're made to think that it's just because she's worried for Harry, but in reality, she's evil. So
she's also really scared, I think, that Tom Riddle's going to tell Harry that he likes her or something. Very like, because she tells him all her secrets, and she's like, "Don't tell Harry my secrets."
Meanwhile, she already serenaded him, basically. Yeah. So I think he's caught on. I mean, he hasn't because he's Harry, but she's probably still a little concerned he'll catch on.
I think this is also worth noticing because it mentions that Dumbledore has red hair, auburn hair when he was younger. And this is one of the tinfoil hat theories in the Harry Potter fandom. But the theory that Dumbledore is actually time traveling Ron. Have you heard of this?
I think there's a belief. But the thing I mentioned when we discuss Prisoner of Azkaban, I discuss how much I hate the time shortener aspect of the series because I don't think it makes sense.
Not a fan.
And the author hated it too. That's why she destroyed it.
She's like, I'm never doing this again. Time travel is really hard to do. Yeah. I will give her that. But I was just like,
I don't like time travel in fantasy. Leave it in sci-fi where it belongs.
But there is a theory that suggests that because of some of the things that Ron says in later books, they think that, I can't quite remember them now, but that he is actually that Dumbledore is Ron, but just traveling throughout time. That's how he knows everything. That's how he knows what's going on with Harry and all this stuff. And he has auburn hair. So, I mean.
Oh, that's such a conflicting part because I love Ron, but don't like Dumbledore.
See, I don't think Ron would ever behave in a lot of the ways that Dumbledore behaves. Like just a lot of like the amount of like plotting that Dumbledore does, like long-term planning, intricate seeds laid years in advance for something to come through later. It's just not who Ron is, even when he matures later on.
Ron's pretty impulsive.
There's a level of plotting and manipulating that just is so very un-Ron.
Ron, say it like it is.
Ron's like, I once I'm hungry, the plan is over.
Exactly.
You guys were saying earlier that he's loyal to a fault, but I'm like, his loyalty ends at his stomach.
Absolutely. Which I respect.
We get it.
Also the call out of, you guys mentioned that Percy was excluded from the movies a bunch, and here in this chapter, him being freaked out about Penelope getting got. I think it's Frederick George, who says that, he didn't think a prefect that could happen to them. But really, it's because
it's his girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
His secret girlfriend. And it's sad because he doesn't share. He keeps it a secret because he doesn't want his siblings to make fun of him or harass him about it. But he has no one to share it with. You don't even know if Percy has friends.
I mean, he has to have friends.
I mean, Penelope's his friend.
Yeah.
But she's inactive right now. But he's just kind of keeping it to himself.
Inactive.
Yeah,
she's on the bench.
Yeah, she's not in play right now.
Oh man.
Injured reserve. And so the other thing I wanted to mention, this is my last restricted section, and then you guys can say the rest of yours. Okay. In your episode, I thought this was fascinating. So you were talking about love potions.
Yes.
And again, how very problematic you could say they are.
Yes.
And so, again, how I treat things like this often is just like, listen, children's fantasy book, let's treat it for what it could be at its best and just disregard it and move on.
Yes.
So interpret it as its wholesomest potential version of itself.
Much better way of saying that. But I was thinking about it and how, because one of the things I wasn't thinking, you guys said this on your episode, was Voldemort is conceived by way of love potion. It's what Merope uses in order to make baby. And then you guys said that might be, there's a theory out there that's why he's so evil, that's why he is what he is because he is the product of something like truly wicked and diabolical, that he himself is what he is. And I thought that was I've never heard that theory before. And I thought that was a fascinating take. So
it's a little tidbit of the nature versus nurture, like there's a natural element to why he is the way he is. And obviously the way he grew up in orphanages led to him being a bit of the way he is, and the way he decided to be in school led to it. But I like to think about the potential of there being that underlying cause and like predetermination of aspects of who he became.
Yeah, certainly, because it's a theory, or not a theory, it's a theme throughout the whole series of, it's your choices that define you. And I like what you said there. Certainly he made awful choices, but it wasn't like he had a great starting point,
Exactly.
But that's all I got for restricted section stuff. What else do you guys have?
She has some other points.
Just little ones. I think it's interesting how Cornelius Fudge is already prioritizing how he appears to people over actual practical results, which I guess is a bit of a foreshadow for the way he is later on.
So we just finished, Goblet of Fire. So we've kind of reached the part where he completely turns on Dumbledore and everything, puts his head in the sand, doesn't want to acknowledge Voldemort's back because it's not a good look for him.
He's gaslighting everybody who just went through traumatic experiences.
And we see a little bit of this in Chamber of Secrets, where he's just arresting Hagrid just to appear that he's doing something. Not that he actually believes Hagrid's guilty or if it's going to do anything. He wants to look good. And that's a key part of, he's a politician at heart, but Harry kind of sees him as still like a kind but pompous guy, which completely changes as like Harry and Dumbledore become like persona non grata later on in the series.
The only time I ever like enjoy him is that moment at the beginning of Prisoner, where he's just like, Harry, it's fine. And even that is like crazy, but it is like it's whimsical and fun. Whereas all the other times you see him, it's like, you're a slimy dude.
He is pretty slimy.
He's just a politician, really.
I also think it's very informative how upset he is at the idea that Dumbledore will be removed, because it kind of feels like Fudge is going to take actions that are public and make it look like he's doing something. But in reality, he's waiting for Dumbledore to sort it all out. He wants Dumbledore to solve it, Dumbledore to figure it out.
He relies
Dumbledore
heavily on Dumbledore being around.
And then to let Dumbledore solve the actual problems, and then Fudge will come out and take responsibility for all the work. That's why he's sad about Dumbledore being gone, is the selfish PR reasons.
Yeah, it's like when you have that friend that you cheat on in class and they don't show up for the day of the test. What? Not me. I never did that. But,
of course not.
You are a pastor.
I'm a pastor. What was it the other day? I like tore half the ligaments in my ankle.
Oh my gosh.
I was trying to paint my shutters because the daggum HOA was like,
oh, you got one of those.
Told me I had to paint them. So I was setting up my ladder, and I didn't realize that it was a multi-folding ladder. So not just the top pivoted, but even the middle of it and it wasn't locked in. So I climb up and I'm climbing back down, and I fall 4 feet right onto my ankle. And my whole neighborhood got to hear their nice, distinguished pastor go on an expletive-laden rant. I was just, and my neighbors come up to me, like they see me with my legs tangled in the ladder, and they, are you okay? And I just went, I'm sorry you had to hear that.
As the one who is the pastor, do you have the power to say, it's okay, God already forgave me? Like, is that
understand
how that works? Do you have that power?
Well, I'm one of those people who I'm like, listen, I don't believe that like words in and of themselves are sinful.
Okay, perfect. Me neither.
Obviously it's contextual. Yes. One of my favorite principles ever is in one of the books in the New Testament, it said that in 1 Corinthians, it's written that if what you do is offensive to somebody, well, then don't do it in front of them. All right. Like when it comes to these smaller matters, and he's like, there's certainly things that are sinful, but when it comes to something like the smaller issues, if you're good with it, great. If it offends somebody, then don't do it in front of them. And that's kind of how I view cursing oftentimes. There's your theology rant.
Thank you for that, actually.
We learned something.
I think it's really interesting because earlier you were talking about like the religious undertones to Harry Potter. And I think it's so interesting to have that perspective from someone who's actually like trained in theology and knows that stuff. Like, I feel like that's incredibly interesting perspective to have on it. Cause like, I've just read that book once, like I said, but it's neat to see someone who can actually delve into it educatedly and like see the correlations. I think that's really fun, especially because we don't learn about religion in the Harry Potter world. Like you don't hear about, like they celebrate Christmas, but
and
it's
like all the
just
Christian holidays. Yeah.
Like there's no religion at all in any of the characters. And I think it's so interesting that like, despite the absence of it, people who like those themes can still find those themes in the book without it being like, and then Harry went to church with the Dursleys, you know. It's interesting. I love that it's there, you know, because it doesn't feel implicit, but that you can find that if it's something that makes you happy in the book is so nice, you know.
Ooh, I already hate the idea of what church the Dursleys would go to. They are not, that church is not representative of what I like to support. But anywho, but thank you for saying that.
It's fun. I love people who have the education on something specific, who can like look at different literature that way is so fun for me. I don't know. I like books.
We like to learn.
Well, certainly too, like the Bible is a inspiration, at least the stories in them without people even knowing are the inspiration for most of our stories today.
Don't tell Tolkien that. He hates metaphors. He'll fight you.
It's so funny because it's like he hates it, but he's also not free from it.
Yeah.
It's like, you gonna tell me that Gandalf, Aragorn, and Frodo aren't all Christ figures too? Come on, my guy.
At least he did it better than C.S. Lewis. He's like, really, C.S. Lewis, the lion is Jesus.
But that, you know what? I don't get mad about Lewis's one because I'm like, it's not like he's trying to hide it. He's being very blatant
upfront about it.
He's not lying.
So
I don't know if you know this fun fact, but the professor in the Chronicles of Narnia was based on J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah.
And Treebeard was based on C.S. Lewis. Because apparently he took too long to get to the point.
I love that so much.
Wow. That's hilarious. I read I have the collection of Tolkien's letters, and beautiful. one of his letters, it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard him say. It's a letter to Lewis, and you know, they like hung out every week. They're bros for a good bit of their lives. And there's one letter where apparently you learn from the letter that they were hanging out the week before, and Tolkien insulted Lewis like in a joking way, but Lewis took it to heart and it really hurt him.
Aww.
And in the letter, it's one of the most bro apologies I've ever heard, because Tolkien goes, listen, I'm sorry that it hurts you, but also you shouldn't have been hurt. Like,
just non-apology. Like, I'm sorry that your feelings were hurt, but that's your problem.
He's like, you should have like been stronger. I get like, and that's not what I meant, but also I am sorry it hurt you. It was just really funny.
I think my favorite Tolkien letter is the one where one of his editors told him he was using the wrong plural of dwarves, and he's like, I'm sorry, have you read the Oxford English Dictionary? Because I wrote it. Don't tell me how to do it.
My favorite one is the one where he like stands up for the Jewish community to the Nazis.
Oh, you like the actual good, important, meaningful ones.
That was
not the
pretty
silly
sick.
Spelling ones. That's a good one.
That was pretty sick. And then I think the last fun fact I can think of about that one, about Tolkien and Lewis, is one of my favorite books of all time is The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. And in that book, it is essentially C.S. Lewis is pretending to be a demon, teaching a younger demon how to get humans to sin. And it's meant to be like every letter is like a lesson in how like we fall for temptation. And it's one of the most creative books I've ever read in my life. But at the beginning, it says to J.R.R. Tolkien. Like it's like it's dedicated to him. The book about the demons is meant for Tolkien. I thought that's really funny.
I love that for him.
Any other restricted sections y'all got?
No, that
Any
was
other
everything.
restricted sections? No, I think that's all we have. This was so long. We did great,
Yeah,
guys.
I
This is
know.
gonna be a long episode
Yeah.
for you. I apologize.
No worries. I feel bad because I was like, I tell people always like a normal episode is an hour and a half, give or take, like 20 minutes.
Okay.
This was another hour, and I mean, this is great. I loved it. I had so much fun.
It's like
Thank
we always
you
say,
guys
we
for
always joke to us when we record. We're like, I don't have a lot of points for this episode. It might be short, and then we talk for an hour.
Well, it's
we love
funny,
to talk.
on your second to last episode, you said, you said, man, so much, like this was a crazy long episode, and it was like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like,
Our episodes
oh,
aren't
boy.
that long. We have shorter episodes.
I mean, we
because
do
have to
record
remove
for
half of the
longer.
things
Yeah, we do.
say.
I do cut out quite a bit of just things that aren't relevant.
And you do one chapter at a time.
That's true.
Yeah,
Instead of two.
that's true.
But thank you so much for being on. This
thank
was
you for
fantastic.
having us.
Thank you for having
Yeah.
us.
It was so much fun.
I really enjoyed it. So we're gonna wrap it up,
Okay.
listeners. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week for Aragog and I think it's the Chamber of Secrets. Aragog and the Chamber of Secrets. Ooh.
Spooky.
Yeah. But anyway, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Retold. Artwork for this podcast was created by Rachel Ortlip. Music was created by Taylor Jarvis. And the Retold podcast is produced by me. That's right. I made this.